Chair, I want to confirm that actually we received a letter from the chairperson, County Public Service Board, on the coercion, seeking the intervention of the committee on the alleged issue.
Who was the subject in that letter?
Through the chair, I confirm that the subject of that letter is one Pauline Kamau, who the board was being coerced by the governor to give an appointment letter as the director administration, to which, as per the board, the County Public Service Board, she did not meet the requirement, and previously her designation was a personal assistant to the governor, and that the board felt that there is a conflict of interest and it's against the requirement for recruitment as a director administration in the county, and were informed that at the same time there was no vacancy, there was a substantive director administration.
Chair, allow me to move from the letters and I go to the governor's bag of documents contained in a file labeled as CGK SCM/DP/001/2019-2020. It's in this white file, the governor's documents. It relates to a purchase of a motor vehicle.
Let the Secretariat furnish honorable members with the same. Mr. Ndego, is it possible you do a list of the files that you expect to interrogate so that we...
Yes. We shall touch all the governor's files.
Yes, it is here with us.
Relating to the tenders.
You may proceed.
Witness, I want to refer you to a document, and the members, the document appears as border of page 18. There's a leaf. There's a leaf indicated as 18H. And the document I'm referring to is a document titled as Guarantee Application Form. Guarantee Application Form.
You may proceed.
Witness, you looking at that form?
Yes, I am.
What sort of a form is it?
Actually, it is an application for a guarantee.
What guarantee, or what was being guaranteed?
A purchase for a motor vehicle for the county government of Kirinyaga was being guaranteed by KCB, a bank.
Is it what your allegation that that tender did not follow the procedure?
Chair, to the best of my knowledge, a guarantee is actually a facility that is applied in form of a loan. And I want to say that one of the roles of the members of the County Assembly, as provided in Section 8 of the County Government Act, is to approve any borrowing of a county government, to which in this case, actually a purchase was done through a barren guarantee and an approval of the county assembly was not sought, to which I am a member, I never saw such an approval being sought or passing through the county assembly.
Being a member of the county assembly, which votes have financed the purchase of that motor vehicle?
Referring to the budget, a budget for a vehicle is supposed to be voted as a recurrent budget. But in our budget for the financial year, it was actually voted as a development budget, to which the control budget declined to approve requisition when it is on a development vote, and requested that the county assembly be sought to do a supplementary budget, which was done actually in the month of April, having it in mind that the vehicle was purchased in the month of October.
So it's evidence that the vote that financed the purchase was that of recurrent expenditure?
Through the chair, I want to confirm that
developed expenditure.
Through the chair, I want to confirm that looking at the details and the fact that the purchase was done in the month of October, and the supplementary budget to devote the money from development to recurrent was done in the month of April. It's best suited for one of the witnesses to confirm actually whether the purchase was done through a recurrent or a development vote.
That letter dated 27th February from the same file. What is it about?
Through the chair, it's actually application of a bank guarantee extension, meaning actually the first application was approved and it expired. Therefore, the county government of Kirinyaga was applying for an extension.
Was the county assembly involved in the approval of that guarantee?
To the best of my knowledge and availability for the services of the county assembly of Kirinyaga, no such approval was sought or approved by the county assembly.
Is that why you are saying that the governor has the tendency of undermining your authority?
Through the chair, that's a clear manifestation of the fact that the governor does not recognize one of the roles that is given to the county assembly by the law.
I want to refer you to the governor's file. Again, finally, it's tender number GCGK ICT 0T046 2017-2018. It's a company called Velocity. You are aware of that company?
Through the chair, I'm aware of that company.
When was that company incorporated?
It was actually incorporated in the year 2017.
And are you aware that the company participated in that particular tender?
With the information available, Chair, I want to confirm that that company participated in 2 tenders in the county government of Kirinyaga, to which, Chair, I want to say with a lot of confidence that this company, from the definitions in the IFINs, and Chair, I want to invite your attention on this. We are living in a digital era, and we are able to access the eCitizen account. Having the CR12 number, anyone can actually search for that company, and you realize that it's not available in the records here. And therefore, with a lot of confidence, would say that it's fictitious, it doesn't exist.
This company, was this a tender that was reserved for any particular affirmative group?
Through the chair, I want to say that this was an open tender that was supposed to be processed as an open tender, not as a restricted tender.
Your evidence that the company called Velocity with VELOCTY is the one that bidded for this tender?
Through the chair, I want to confirm that actually the information we get from the executive is more confusing, because at times you ask for that information concerning the tender, they will give information for Velocity, VELOCITI. And other times, through the chair, you get information relating to VELOCTY, meaning there is clear intention to confuse the assembly as they do their mandate.
So it is your evidence that the company going by the name of Velocity with VELOCITY is the one that executed the contract,
I want to confirm through the chair.
while the company that bidded for the bid is VELOCTY.
I want to confirm, Chair.
Yeah, I want to yield the witness for cross-examination.
That's in order. So I invite counsel representing Honorable Waiguru to cross-examine. You have 25 minutes.
Honorable Kenywa,
Yes, my name.
I will ask you questions and I just want it to be very brief. I just want a yes, no. Any explanations, your counsel will guide you on that. Are we together?
Very much indeed.
Now, I want you to get a copy of the motion that you lodged.
Counsel, try to be loud enough.
I want you to get a copy of the motion that you lodged before the Senate. But before we embark on it, I want you to just answer the first question. When was the motion for impeachment of Her Excellency Waiguru presented before the County Assembly for the first time?
Actually, the motion was presented to the County Assembly on 31st of March 2020.
31st of March 2020.
Yes.
Then there's an order that was given by the court
An order was given by the court
to stay pending resolution of the COVID issue by the government, yes?
It happened.
I have not, just answer my questions, please. So the question I had to ask you is, at the time when the motion was moved, isn't that the time when operations at the county government ceased because of the pandemic and the directives by the government on essential services?
It was the period.
It was a period. Has that directive on essential services been lifted so that the county is now fully operational? Yes or no?
Chair, I would wish to seek for your intervention on this, since some of the answers that are being sought by the council, they are answers, they are questions you cannot give a yes or a no answer. You require an explanation.
You are free to do that.
So, through the chair, actually, the measures by the Ministry of Health had not been lifted. But making reference to the court order, we were given a leeway as a county assembly to determine whether we are actually abiding to the measures given by the Ministry of Health. To which, chair, we actually maintain the social distance, we actually provided sanitation center, washing hand centers, all those were provided. And actually, chair, the council went to court to challenge the same, that we are contemptuous of the court decision. And it was ruled in our favor. Therefore, chair, in line with that, I want to say that the court order did not deter the County Assembly of Kirinyaga from prosecuting the motion.
Honorable Chair, I think the reason why I'm asking that he abides by my request on how I want questions answered is also to save on my 25 minutes. If it takes 10 minutes on one answer, it means I will not have done justice for my client. So I will insist that he just answers. If there's anything, his counsel will have a right of re-examination to affirm some of his questions, so that he can save on my time.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to limit him to a yes or no answer. I will just advise him to be brief in his response. So that
through the chair, I seek your guidance.
So I'll proceed. Honorable Kinywa, please let us not waste time. The next question, the question I wanted to ask, and I just want you to focus on that question. At the time when you moved the motion, was there a directive that dealt with essential services from the national government?
The directive was in force.
Was in force. Thank you very much. Now, the operations of the Kirinyaga County government, were they affected in any way by that directive?
Chair, I want to say by then, the operations were back to normal. Therefore, they were affected for a short while, then they resumed to normalcy.
So you're telling this honorable committee that from 30th of March until now, all the employees of Kirinyaga County have been reporting to work daily?
To the best of my knowledge,
or you don't know?
the best of my knowledge, they are.
Okay. Then I will move to the next question. When the court suspended or rather issued a conservatory order concerning the impeachment, there are directions it gave. The first direction was that you must not prevent the public from participating in the process. Am I right in saying that? Or do I have to read the ruling for you?
No.
I will reframe my question. When the court stated, and I'll read it for you, the impeachment of a governor is not a closed-door affair. Where an impeachment motion is successful, it does not only affect the governor, but also prejudices political rights. Article 38 of the Constitution of the people who voted for the governor. The public must be involved in such a process through qualitative and quantitative participation. What did you understand by that?
That the public participation must be done. However, it must not be done directly. It can also be done indirectly.
So in this particular case, it was done indirectly?
It was done indirectly without full exposure of the people of Kirinyaga to COVID-19.
Thank you very much. What does the County Government Act state concerning how public participation should be undertaken? I know you're familiar with the legislation that governs how your operations are done.
I will not go to the county government, but the rules that govern our public participation as Kirinyaga County Assembly.
Let us focus on I'm very specific on the County Governments Act. I think I'll give you a copy of this so that you can read. Okay, don't worry. I just want you to read section 91 of the County Governments Act. Internalize, and I think you can summarize it in one sentence. Does Section 91 of the County Government Act provide the modalities and platforms for citizen participation in the business?
It actually provides.
Can you name some of them, please? Just read. Name some of them from there.
Information technology-based platforms.
Yes.
You can have town hall meetings. And in fact, in our case, we adopted...
Continue with what you're reading. What are the things?
Budget preparation and validation for us. Notice board announcing jobs, appointment, procurement, next development project sites, and avenues of public participation, people representatives included but not limited to members of the National Assembly and Senate, establishment of citizen fora at county and decentralized unit.
Thank you very much. Now the question I want to just ask you is very simple. In the motion that you filed before this Senate, have you attached any documents to show how you complied with that requirement of the law?
In the first instance, there is no attachment, but actually, as far the procedure
Thank you very much.
After doing the motion, you facilitate the process of public participation.
Thank you very much. In the statements that you have filed as witness statements for all your 4 witnesses, has any witness alluded to what was done to comply with the issue of public participation? Yes or no?
I want to confirm on my case, yes.
In your case, yes. Can you take me to the paragraph, please? Remembering you have just told this Honorable Senate that it was through indirect participation.
Through the chair, I want to withdraw the statement that it is actually in my statement and actually say that the information can be furnished to confirm that we did public participation.
Thank you very much for confirming that. The next question I want to ask is very simple. When was the decision made to have the hearing for the motion to remove the governor by way of impeachment?
Actually, by the time we submitted the motion to the county assembly.
I've not asked that. For the decision to be made that you're coming on this particular date to vote. Okay, when was the vote made?
Eighth of June 2020.
8th of June 2020. When was the decision? When was the decision to call the governor for that hearing communicated to her?
It was actually the decision and the communication was done on 9th.
On 9th. So the communication to the governor?
Sorry, made on 7th, sorry.
So the communication to the governor was made on 7th?
Yes.
Now, do you have any evidence in the motion that you have filed to indicate the day when she was served with those summons, telling her to come before the committee on 8th?
The information can be provided.
I've not asked that. In your motion, is there anything to confirm that this is the day she was served with those summons?
Through the chair, I want to say that the confirmation or the question or what I should be put to task is the fact whether the governor was furnished with the information or not.
The question I've asked you, focus on my questions, not the questions you want to ask yourself. The question I'm asking you, do you have any evidence in your motion indicating that the governor was served with the summons on 7th, requiring her to come on 8th? Or she was served on 8th, requiring her to come on another day?
The governor was served with a notice on 7th.
Do you have evidence of that in your motion?
The notice can be availed.
So you don't have it in your motion. Thank you very much. I want you to take a copy of the motion. And I'll step by step. Violation, you've talked about the one that relates to the annual state of account. You are by virtue of being in the county assembly, yes. So you understand the laws that govern your business. So yes, I want to just ask a very simple question. Can you direct us to the provision in the Constitution? Because you've called it a gross violation of the Constitution. The provision of the Constitution that mandates the governor to appear before the county assembly to deliver that address.
Through the chair, I want to say that the County Government Act is an enabling act to the Constitution of Kenya. And it's the Constitution that required that the National Assembly assent to a bill that would enable the formation of the county government. And it's from that we borrow from the County Government Act, Section 8, which Sorry, section 30, which requires the governor to address the county assembly
Please,
annually.
I want you to read that provision because it is very... So for the Constitution, there is no direct provision in the Constitution. Are you confirming that?
You cannot detach the county government act from the Constitution.
The Constitution itself, does it have an express provision? The County Governments Act, that's section 30K. I want you to just to the Senate because what section 32K states.
Section 30K states that the governor is supposed to deliver.
Just read it the way it is. Don't interpret it, just read it the way it is in the Act.
Actually, it's 30. It's 1K, and one says the governor shall take and subscribe the oath of affirmation as set out in the schedule. This.
We are focusing on section 32K, 30 subsection 2K,
Good.
because that is what is on your motion.
Good.
So please focus on what I've told you.
That's why I am. But remember, it's 32K.
Yes, that's what I've asked you. Just read it to us. What does 30...
Subject to the Constitution, the governor shall.
Okay.
K. Deliver annual state of the county address containing such matters as may be specified in county registrations.
Thank you very much. Now, the question I want to ask you, does that provision mention county assembly? From what you have read, does it mention county assembly?
It actually doesn't mention the county assembly.
Thank you very much. Now, when the governor in her response indicates that she gave the address at the public hospital, do you have anything to support your position in terms of evidence that that was in violation of any law?
State of the county address, you can't do it in a conference or in a public rally. It's actually supposed to be done where the executors, the implementer of that address, are available. We as the county assembly, we are not invited to that address. And actually, if we borrow from what happens in the National Assembly, all those addresses are discussed by the National Assembly. In our case, even the statement itself, we did not receive.
Thank you for confirming that you don't have a legal provision for that. Now, I want us to move to the valuations of a tender, the Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. You've mentioned quite a number, but I will cut across all of them with a simple questions so that we can save on time. The first question, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act is very clear. Any person who is aggrieved by the decision of the tender committee of a procuring entity has a right to seek a review with the review board of the procurement under the Procurement Act. Do you have any decisions of the review board or of any court of law by any aggrieved party that support your position that tenders were made out of conflict of interest, nepotism, and any criminal enterprise? Or on the basis that there are people whose tenders were more responsive than others, but they did not get a tender? Do you have any such decisions from the review board, which is mandated under the law to make such a determination, or a court of law that is empowered to make such a decision in the event of an appeal?
I want to say that the county assembly is an oversighter.
I've just asked you concerning this. Do you have the body that is authorized to make that decision under the law? Do you have a decision from that review board authorized under the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, or under by virtue of any court of that is pursuant to an appeal under this act? Do you have any decision?
Through the chair, I want to say that we are privy to PPRA report on matters, some of those tender, a report that can be tabled, and the executive can actually confirm that they have such a communique from the public procurement regulatory authority questioning some of these tenders that are in this motion.
Thank you for volunteering that information. Can you show us a copy of that report, please? In the volume that you are holding and in the volumes that we are holding, please.
Council? Council, can I have the letter?
The letter from the
PPRA letter.
PPRA letter. The next question I wanted to ask, you've severally on the issues of the tenders, you've talked about the governor being in charge of a criminal enterprise that is intended to defraud the county. The question I want to ask you, in your motion, do you have any evidence showing that she received any money from any beneficiaries of these tenders?
Tendering process.
Have evidence showing that she received any money?
Tendering process is being manipulated.
No, the word you have used is criminal enterprise.
Yes, and I want to prove,
and it's corruption. And you've talked about corruption because of the purpose of trying to defraud the county of funds. And I'm asking, do you have evidence in your motion showing the governor receiving any money from these successful bidders?
I want to say that I want to prove that her hand was actually in this tendering process, and the onus is on her head to actually prove that she was not.
Thank you for confirming that you don't have that evidence. Now, I want to move straight to the issue of Pauline Kamau and Gishira Wayne.
Proceed.
Just before you move on to that, I think considering the gravity of this matter, we had allocated cross-examination for 25 minutes, and since this is the main witness, we have reconsidered that position. We shall add you 15 more minutes, and then for re-examination, we shall also add you a further 15 minutes so that we deal with this matter in a more deeply way.
Much obliged, Honorable Chair. I'll humbly request if I can just be warned when I finish the 25 so that my learned colleague can address a particular portion. Please.
I had earlier indicated that you look at the signals, the light signals.
Much obliged.
These lights signifies 15 more minutes remaining. This light signifies 5 more minutes. And this light signifies that your time has lapsed.
Thank you very much.
Stand guided.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, concerning the issue of Gishira, I want to ask...
In total, you have 20 minutes. 5 that you remained with, plus the 15 that you've added.
Much obliged. The question I wanted to ask is concerning Gishira. Which body is mandated to employ public service employees for Kirinyaga County? Under the Act?
The County Public Service Board.
Now, under the County Governments Act, who has the power to fire or exercise disciplinary action against members of that board? Is it the governor or is it the county assembly?
It is actually the county assembly.
So the governor cannot threaten them because she cannot fire them. Isn't that a fact?
It is a fact.
Thank you very much. So the question I want to ask, you indicated that there's a letter that you received from the board indicating that they are under pressure to hire the lady called Pauline Kamau. And that was in the year 2018. How many years ago was that?
That is actually 2 years.
2 years ago. Was Pauline employed?
She was actually employed.
So the question I want to ask you, as a body that was approached by this board, what action did you take to prevent her employment if she was not qualified for the position?
Article 179 of the Constitution confers the Chief Executive Officer authority to the governor, meaning she charge of both administrative and the executive powers in the county. And being the person who appoints the members of the County Public Service Board and bring them to the assembly for approval. Therefore, she remains their boss.
I want you to read the last paragraph of that letter that was written to you. The letter from the CD. Okay, I'm stopping. Yeah? The last paragraph of that letter. What does it say? Please read it to the Senate.
If you don't act fast to stop this by invoking your supervisory role, the board will be left with no choice but to issue the said Pauline Kamau with an appointment letter.
Did you do anything as a committee?
Council, use your microphone.
Oh, sorry. Is there any evidence in your motion of any action you took? In your motion?
I want to confirm that the report can be availed that the committee acted on that letter.
I've asked you, in your motion, is there evidence of any action? Thank you for confirming that there is no such evidence. Now, the thing I want to ask, I want to refer now to the case of... I want you to look at the file for Velst.
With an I or without
an I?
an I?
There's no I. Veloct, I think. Okay. I want you to look at the certificate of incorporation that appears at the top. Huh?
Yes.
What is the name appearing for that company?
It's appearing as Verocti.
Now, so when you say velocity, and in your evidence you kept on saying that you were given letters by the county, some saying velocity, others saying velocity. Can you show us in your motion evidence of those letters? Do you have those letters in your evidence? In your motion? Do you have evidence?
The chair, I want to produce an evidence in that line.
I'm asking from your motion, do you have any evidence in your motion to support the statement you said on oath that you have received letters from the county government, some calling this entity as Velocity, others calling it as Velocity? Do you have that evidence? That's what I'm asking you. In your motion.
In the documents provided,
in the motion you filed, do you have it?
In the report we filed, the document provided us. You can actually realize there are two contracts, one for Verocity and the other one for Velocity. And in fact, I would want to go ahead, Chair, through the chair, I would want to go ahead and produce in this document that was provided by the government.
I think I want you to focus.
Chair, there is one contract for Verocity and the other one for Velocity.
The question I want to ask you, I'm focusing on your motion.
But chairs, we cannot run away from the facts.
I think we shall allow him to answer you comprehensively, because you also need to give him time to answer you comprehensively on the questions you are raising, Council. So, Honorable MCA, you are allowed to make that presentation. But consider you're eating up into Honorable Anne's Waiguru's time, so you rather first hasten your response.
Please refer the committee to the particular contract that is signed that has got those names that you're talking about. Now, the other question I wanted to ask.
Chair, I'm already in one of the documents that they are provided. One is the contract for provision of consultancy services for design. if you look at the second page, Chair, this agreement made on 4th day of May 2018 between the county government of Kirinyaga, PO Box 260 Kutus, located at the county headquarters Kutus, herein called the employer. On the one hand, and Velocity Partners Limited, VEROCITY, Chair,
Does it show?
you proceed, you realize in the same document, Chair, document provided by the council, the signature and the stamp is for Verocti. Chair, why wouldn't I say that there is confusion in such a scenario?
I want you to go to the execution page of that agreement. What name appears on the execution page for that company?
It's Verocti Partners.
What stamp have they used for their company?
It's Verocti Partners.
When you go to the cover of that agreement, what name appears?
It's Verocti Partners.
Thank you very much. Now, the
Chair,
question I wanted
it
to
needs
ask-
to be noted that there is a point, the council is running away, that there is confusion, like I said, in the documents. One agreement indicates Velocity and the other agreement indicate Verocti.
Well noted. You may proceed.
So now the question I wanted to ask next is that you talked about the governor taking interest and allowances and not traveling.
True.
Do you have any evidence? Okay, no problem.
Chairman, I think, with your permission, I'd like to assist my colleague so that we can move quickly. In your statement, in the motion, you give evidence, you allege that 50 million shillings was paid against a contract of 27 million shillings. Yeah? 30 million shillings was paid against a contract of 27 million shillings.
Yes, proceed.
Just open for me. Your motion alleges how much money was paid by the county government to Velocity Partners.
True.
How much does it say was paid?
In my motion, I indicate 50 million.
And what do you indicate the contract was for?
Actually, Chair, like I've put previously, there is Verocti and Velocity.
No, okay.
The contract were two contracts. Chair, if you are to read those documents keenly, one was invitation of consultancy services, and the other tender, Chair, was provision of service itself.
So you acknowledge there are two contracts.
There are two contracts.
So it is not one contract for 27
Even
million.
to the same company, Chair.
Okay. So there are two contracts paid for provision of separate services to the same company, but not one company which was overpaid.
It's actually one company paid for two contracts.
But so there is no overpayment because the two contracts. What are the amounts of both contracts in total?
Chair, previously I alluded to a report from the PPRA, and Chair, if you can take your time to study this report, this is one of the tender that PPRA questioned, the manner in which it was prosecuted, then the manner in which it was paid. Actually, Chair, from the information, the tender was meant for level 4 facilities we have in Kirinyaga, but it was narrowed down to 2 facilities.
Chair,
the actual sum was 27 million for one of the tender, and they narrowed down to 2 facilities. And at the end of the day, the total amount is 27 million that was paid for 2 facilities, but the contract was for 4 facilities, Chair.
Okay. Now, Bwana MC, you know you are before the court of law, and you know there are consequences to telling things that are untrue. Mr. David, you acknowledge even in your statement, the statement you wrote later, you actually talk about 2 contracts, 2 separate contracts.
I actually talk of 2 separate contracts.
So do you now wish to withdraw your allegation in your motion that there was only 1 contract?
Chair, withdraw in the name of the company that was doing the work is one company that was paid 50 million. The withdrawal is that it is not 1 contract.
Thank you.
It is 2 contracts.
The next question I wanted to ask relates to the travel allowances.
Proceed.
You say that the governor appropriated for her personal benefit. Those are your words. 10,634,614, and did not travel. The question I want to ask you: in your motion, do you have any evidence? Not my documents. In the documents you lodged before the Senate as a complainant, do you have any documents to support your allegation that she did not travel?
The document provided is actually that she was paid, but Chair, form of witness can be produced in form of document or individual.
Now, do you have any witness in the statements that have been produced who has been able to confirm authoritatively that she did not travel?
Chair, I want to confirm that one of the witnesses who will appear in the floor of this house will actually confirm the same.
Can you indicate from the witness statements that have been filed the witness who has talked about the... If you do not know, just say you do not know.
Chair, I haven't looked at the statement of the other witnesses, but one of the witnesses will attest to the same.
Now, the other question I wanted to ask is on the issue of KIDA.
Proceed.
Who legislated the act? Who passed the legislation that led to the creation of KIDA?
Actually, the legislative authority of the county is on Kirinyaga County Assembly, and we registered.
You're the ones who passed that legislation?
Yes.
In that legislation, did you... on KIDA, did the legislation you pass indicate that these board members had to be paid some salaries?
Of course, you engage an officer, you have to pay him or her.
Now, the Constitution, does the Constitution prohibit servitude or forced labor where people work and are not paid?
It prohibits.
Now, having passed that legislation and also complying with the Constitution, was it proper for people to assume public office and not be paid?
It is proper. However, I want to state this.
Is it proper or improper?
It is proper to have officers in the employed, but there must be a budgetary provision for their salary. And number two, we very well know in the Constitution there is the Salary and Remuneration Commission, which must provide for the guidelines on the salaries and the salary scale for state officers and public officers.
I will ask your advocate to give you the file for KIDA. Are you aware that there is a letter that was issued by SRA giving guidelines?
For board members, but not for the staff of the board.
Is the complaint in your motion, isn't it about board members?
The complaint is about the composition of the board itself, and the board, remember, a board cannot work in isolation. They must have staffers.
I want you to read your motion because I don't want us to waste this Honourable Committee's time playing games. I want you to go to page 14 of your motion.
And Chair, I seek your protection on a statement that demeanor and arrogance. Chair, I'm not wasting any time.
Focus on the questions I've asked you, please. Clause 5. Oh, sorry. Clause 4 on page 14 of that motion. So, have you distinguished between board members and employees? At paragraph 4 of your motion, at page 14.
Chair, I talk about the members of the board.
Thank you very much. Now, the question I want to ask you, considering that SRA SRC had already issued guidelines on that specific issue in 2014. Was there any justification for including this complaint in your motion?
Chair, I want to confirm that my intention actually was to cover the whole of the board members. The board cannot work on its own, it must work with staffs.
So you are aware, at the time when you lodged your complaint, you are aware that SRC had already given guidelines for the board members?
Chair, the evidence I gave in line with this motion is a letter from the County Public Service Board members or the board actually protesting against inclusion of the staffers of the board in the payroll against SRC advisory, which has not been sought up to date.
Okay, Chair, because the documents for SRC are in your records, I don't think we need to rehash the point. I want to the travel interests, which I think are in your motion. Are they with you? Because I want to ask you specific questions. There is a payment made on the 30th of June 2019 amounting to 2,600,297. You have that figure?
Yes.
Do you have any evidence, whether in by way of deposits in the governor's bank account or through the IFMI system, in your records, that those amounts were paid?
Chair, I want to confirm that actually this is an amount of money that was paid to Her Excellency.
No, I'm not asking you. That you have already said. I'm asking you whether you have evidence.
Allow me to proceed and say that the evidence will be produced by one of the witnesses that the County Assembly sought the Senate to this House, because, Chair, we have been seeking for this information and the executive has failed to produce this information because this was paid as interest to one of the officers in the governor's office, and the officer paid the money to the governor herself.
So what you are saying is that at the point at which you made this statement, you had no evidence. You'll give this officer.
The evidence will be produced by the officer.
Did you have the evidence? Did you have the evidence? Because if you had the evidence, you would produce it. Did you have the evidence at the time at which you went and said the governor has taken this money? Did you have the evidence?
Chair, the IFMIS extract attached to our files.
Show us the IFMIS extract with that figure, please. I'll allow your counsel to do that. And I can give you two others, so that as they are looking for, they can give you two others. There's a payment made on the 8th of January 2020 for 943,700. There's a payment on the 25th of February 2020 for 1,125,440. Can you provide the evidence that made you go and say a payment was made? You even indicated the bank account in your motion. You indicated the bank account where the money was paid. Show us the evidence that you had to make that allegation.
I proceed again, and I would want to say that one of the witnesses that will appear on the floor of this Senate would actually provide evidence, because actually she was one of the officers who accompanied the governor and they arrived at the airport, Chair.
Finally, you are aware of the that you have indicated number. No. Yes, the payment, the travel number 1 of June 2018. Italy, it's written Italy Coffee and Rice Harvesters in our motion, but it's June 2018. Are you aware that was a trip to the country of Italy?
Yes.
Are you aware that your leader of majority was in Italy and photographed with the governor?
Chair, I'm not aware, and I want to confirm that the leader of majority was not any money from the county
that
assembly,
is not the issue. You said
nor
she did
the
not
county
travel.
assembly to accompany the governor.
Bonakinyo, I'm asking, you said she did not travel. You are saying you're not aware, even though there were photographs, there was a statement issued by both your colleague in the assembly in Italy. So at the time you are saying she did not travel, were you aware of that? Or you were just not aware?
Chair, I want to confirm that the leader of majority is with us, and he can confirm whether he attended or not, Chair.
All right. Now, have you gotten the payments, the receipt of payments that you used to make this motion to say that the governor was not paid? Are they there, Council? Are you able to provide? From your bundle? Yeah, that the governor was paid and did not travel.
Chair, what you've done is that we have called this witness because of the difficulty of procuring these documents which they are in your custody. We have summoned, and the Senate has summoned the Chief Officer Finance. That is why the witness is saying there is a witness who will testify to that. Remember, Chair, these documents are always in the custody of the governor's office.
Council should be winding up because your time is up.
All right, thank you. Are you aware?
One more minute.
Okay. Are you aware, Bwana Kinyua, that in the 2 trips that the governor did not visit, did not travel, her responsibility is to repay the money back to the county?
I'm aware.
And are you aware that those monies were repaid?
Chair, the money may be paid, but the question is when. And how can you benefit in terms of foreign travel allowances the first time, the second time, the third time, without making the reimbursement, Chair?
Bwana Kinyua, do you understand how the process of imprest works?
I understand very well.
So you know that you actually collect money. If you don't use it, you reimburse, you refund it?
Within a stipulated timeline.
Okay, and from where you see it, the governor has never refunded that money?
She has refunded some, actually, after this motion was tabled, Chair. And in fact, one of the receipts that is provided here, reimbursement was done on 17th of this month. Why are that? Therefore, translate, if there was no such a motion, the intention was to defraud the residents of Kirinyaga their funds.
All right, Bwana Kinyua, you recognize that those trips were cancelled in January and February. So a reimbursement surely in April cannot be an intention to defraud for imprest.
Chair, if the council can assist me, make reference. There is a stipulated period within which, if you are given imprest, you must account for it and do the reimbursement.
Thank you. I think.
Thank you. No further questions.
Yeah, your time is up. So we'll allow the council representing the county assembly to do re-examination. Initially, I had allocated him 5 minutes, but I will add him a further 15 minutes, and I'll also be flexible with the way I've been with the council representing Honorable Waiguru. So if you see me flexible with him, don't be offended. We will want to be as fair as possible so that we get a just a ruling for this matter.
Chairman.
Thank you, Chair.
Chairman, perhaps before my colleague starts, our apologies for overrunning the time that you had very kindly allocated us for the cross-examination of this important witness. Chairman, there is a clarification which really needs to come from the horse's mouth, which I want to ask, and I can conclude within 60 seconds. So, Chair, I seek your indulgence to just put that point to this witness.
Chair, we have a serious objection to the position my senior is taking, because they have actually yielded the witness for re-examination. Procedurally, even from the law of evidence, and my senior bears me witness, having practiced law many years than I have, that once the witness has been yielded for re-examination, you cannot reopen cross-examination. He's trying to open a cross-examination. The witness has been yielded to us.
Chairman, I don't know what my learned friend is afraid of. He was the one who put it on record in the morning that we're truth-seeking. And my little point is very important for this committee's desire to find the truth.
I think I have ceded a lot of ground for the council representing Honorable Waiguru, and I wouldn't grant you that opportunity. You will maybe use other available opportunity for your team to raise the issue. As for now, your request has been denied.
That is well noted. Thank you very much, Chair.
Mr. Kinyua, kindly go with me to the County Government Act, Section 30, the one that requires the governor to issue an annual address, correct? Are you there with me?
I'm there.
Kindly read it out.
The functions and responsibility of the county governor. It actually says, number 2, subject to the Constitution, the governor shall, I go to K, deliver annual state of the county address containing such matters as may be specified in county legislation.
So it is your evidence that the procedure for where and how and when the governor must address the county assembly is not domiciled within that act, but in a county legislation, correct?
Chair, I want to confirm the same, and like I did put it across in my previous submission, is the fact that borrowing from the history of all the parliaments, the tradition is the governor and even the president addresses the legislator in the precincts of the assemblies. And in this case, the allusion that the address was done elsewhere, I'm not informed, and a communication is done to the members who participate.
Mr. Kenywa, so you are referring to our customs of the Westminster traditions, correct?
Actually, that's what I'm...
But I am referring you to that section K, where the provisions of that law refers to another county legislation, correct?
Yes, Council.
And to that effect, the county government, the county assembly has legislated the standing orders, correct?
True.
I want to refer you to a particular standing order for your reference and for your reading.
Council, through the chair, Kirinyaga County Assembly standing orders, standing order number 18, the governor shall address a special sitting of a county assembly once every year and may address the county assembly at any other time.
So there is a specific provision and legislation from the county assembly of Kirinyaga to the effect that she shall.
Chair, I would want to raise a preliminary objection on that issue, because it is very clear to even the House that standing orders are not legislation, and standing orders relate to the conduct of the House, and they regulate members of the House. They cannot regulate the governor.
I think that is well received, but we shall listen to the council as he re-examines, and then it will be upon the committee to make that determination. Thank you.
Chair, I think maybe to guide the committee as and when they sit, the standing orders are domiciled in the Constitution. The county assemblies and legislative assemblies like this one and the National Assembly, they have been given the mandate to legislate on the issues of their operations and the standing orders. So it is domiciled in the Constitution, and we can argue that until the cows come home. So I'm asking you, Mr. Kenywa, is that the county legislation that is being referred in that particular provision?
Yes.
Did the governor comply with that provision?
Through the chair, I want to confirm that the governor did not comply, and not in any time within the period of the 2 years has he complied with the provisions of that standing order.
So is it ridiculous to allege that a public address was granted or issued by the governor from a hospital?
It's an handoff, and like I've said, even the President of the Republic of Kenya addresses the National Assembly and the Senate in the plenary.
You were put to task to explain whether there was public participation, correct?
Yes, Council.
You answered in affirmative that public participation was done and advertisement was done, correct?
True, and the documents are available to confirm that actually we advertised in 2 papers of national circulation, requiring the residents of Kirinyaga to give their input and participate in this exercise, to which written memorandum were submitted to the county assembly and through the county assembly email. And to go further, a questionnaire was done that was circulated to our people, and bundles of responses are with us in affirmative.
Mr. Witness, is the question of public participation domiciled in your notice of motion for removal of the governor? Is it a question for determination? Yes or no? Is it an issue for interrogation by this committee?
It's actually not registered anywhere.
It's not an issue. You are put to task by council in respect to the question of the employment of one Pauline Waiguru. Yes?
Yes, I was.
Do you have witness to come and testify to that effect?
Yes, we have a witness who attest to that effect, that the recruitment was not worth since there was a substantive director administration.
What is the designate of that witness that we are calling?
It's the chairperson, County Public Service Board.
I now take you to velocity and velocity. Yes?
Yes.
Read with. I'll be referring to, there are two tenders, tender 048, 047 and 046. I'll begin with 046. Witness, kindly lead this Senate committee as to the distinction between velocity and velocity. Is it one and the same?
Through the chair, looking at the documents is actually a reference of one and the same thing.
It is your statement that there are two companies existing by those chrononyms. That is velocity of VELOCITY and velocity of VELOCTY, correct?
I confirm through the chair.
And I have shown the agreement or the contract that was signed in this tender. Who executed that tender? Is it who executed the agreement? Who is reflected as the party executing the agreement on the face of the agreement? Is velocity with CITY or CTY?
In the face of the agreement is actually VELOCTY.
And from the document submitted by the governor, who bidded for this tender? Is it the velocity with VELCITY or VELCTY? Who tendered?
It's actually velocity, VELOCTY.
So a fictitious company was introduced in the midway, correct?
I confirm.
Finally, on this issue, who was the chair of the tender committee? Was it Pauline or was it Gishira?
I want to confirm that in this tender, the chair was one, Winnie Gishira.
And Winnie Gishira, you want to confirm, is an employee as an advisor in the office of the governor?
With the documents availed, it's actually a partisan staff who works as an ICT to the office of the governor, and well informed that such partisan staff are not supposed to participate in any executive or administrative affairs of the county government.
Witness, move with me to the next file of the tender 047, correct?
Yes.
You agree with us that the same confusion and the same two companies participated in that tender, correct?
I confirm through the chair.
Do you also confirm that the same person, Gishira, is also the chair of the evaluation committee?
I confirm that the governor, personal ICT advisor, chaired the evaluation and tender committee.
You are put to task to explain when the company was incorporated, yes?
I was.
When was the company incorporated again?
It was incorporated in the year 2017.
Was this an open tender?
It was an open tender.
Would you recap the requirement for participation of a company if the tender is an open tender? Would you recap for this?
I would recap and confirm that the company must have been in operation for a minimum of 3 years. Secondly, it must provide audited account for the last 3 years. And in this case, it's not the scenario. It was registered in 2017, and in the year 2018, it participated in the tender.
Witness, I want to take you to the technical evaluation report by the said evaluation committee, yes? In tender number 046. Yes?
Proceed.
I want to refer you to page 9. Sorry, it's the body of document is annexure 12I, the document, the governance document. Annexure 12I. There's a document titled as technical evaluation. Yes? There's a column of description and the column of the marks. I'm referring to the column of description, correct? In that column of experience, what is indicated there?
It is indicated actually the company has an experience of 5 years.
In the column of audited reports, did the company pass that test?
Indicated as audited account for the last 3 years from the document in the past.
Move with me to the next page, where I have underlined and where we have the reasons. Kindly read out this statement.
Following are some of the key explanations why the evaluated bidders were not awarded a maximum score of 100% at the detailed technical evaluation stage.
Why the bidders were not awarded 100%? So they were awarded but not 100%, yes?
Yes.
Read for those 3 companies, which company and which company, and you read the remarks.
Company number 1, that is bidder number 1, Miss Parity Performance, Company Limited, submitted audited accounts for only 1 year. Work plan provided does not clearly define the timelines, particular understanding of the scope and interpretation of TORs, and no clear documentation.
Next company?
Next company is Miss Ubora System and Solutions Limited. No master's degree for the team lead, relevant experience of less than 10 years, no proof of qualification and competence of key staff for the assignment.
What remarks is entered for velocity?
Velocity, scope and specification will be fully understood during pilot stage and feasibility study phase.
Again?
Scope specification will be understood during pilot stage or feasibility study phase.
So the reason why the company did not garner 100% marks was given as it was told that the scope and specification will be fully understood during the pilot stage or the feasibility stage. Yes?
That is.
Is it in view of procurement?
I actually want to confirm that it is unprocedural because you must first of all provide the proof of evidence that you have the expertise and the experience required to perform such a tender.
That's why you are saying that that tender was skewed?
It was skewed in favor of...
I want to take you to the question of the Kirinyaga Investment Development Authority, the KIDA, correct? You're with me?
I'm with you, Council.
It is your testimony that there exists a staff and there also exists a board, correct?
As per the act that was passed by the Kirinyaga County Assembly, there exist both the board members and the staffs of the board.
Have you ever passed any salary issues to the County Assembly regarding to these board members and the staffs?
Actually, it's not the responsibility of the County Assembly to pass matter salary. It's the responsibility of the Salary and Remuneration Commission.
Was that advice communicated to any organ of the county government, be it the county executive or the county assembly?
Council, what we have is an information or a letter from the County Public Service Board cautioning inclusion of the staff of the board in the payroll against SRC.
How long has that board been in existence? When was the board incorporated? When were the members recruited? If you don't know, it's okay, it's also an answer. go to a file titled as travel documents forwarded to us by the governor. You have been put to task to explain whether or not you have the evidence in regard to this interest. Yes?
Yes, I was.
Did you make any attempt to procure this information before you filed?
Yes, we did letters to the chief officer in charge of finances, and the Senate to actually summon the chief officer to give the information in relation to foreign travels.
When you made that requisition information from that officer, was it availed to you?
The information was not availed to the County Assembly of Kirinyaga.
But you said you have witnesses to testify to the effect that the governor actually went off board the plane when it was just about to take off in her trip to China?
True. Witnesses will be there, some of former staffers in the office of the governor who had to travel with her.
You made an application in the morning before the Senate to be provided with clear copies of the ordinary or regular passport and diplomatic passport, yes?
Yes, I made an application because it's well within our information that the governor holds both diplomatic passport and the ordinary passport. And it's also not clear which passport she travels with foreign travels.
You were put to task to explain whether or not a refund was done, yes?
Yes.
Did you make an application in the morning to have the receipt provided?
Yes.
Was it the receipt dated 17th April 2020?
True.
Yes?
Yes.
That receipt is domiciled in the governor's documents, correct?
It's domiciled.
As an indication of the refund of the interest, correct?
True.
When were these travels done? Between which month and which month, so that we can be able to compute time?
Actually, the travels were done between 18th June 2018.
And the last travel?
18th February 2019.
18th February. Assuming that this receipt is indicative of one of those trips and the interest refund, is that consistent with the provisions of the law relating to surrender and return of the monies?
It's actually against, and the interest warrant provide for the timelines.
That's why you are saying the governor abuses our office.
That is that the governor actually abuses her office to confer herself extra benefits that are irregular and illegal.
And this is indicative of that personal benefit, correct?
True.
Was she surcharged for withholding money by the county executive, the county?
The chief officer did not surcharge the governor for such benefits.
Did the governor provide any surrender documents in her evidence?
Not at all.
Is that an admission of guilt?
Actually, it admits that she's guilty of the same.
When were the money refunded?
Chairman, if I may.
When was the money?
Yes.
Some of the conclusions that my learned colleague is asking the witness to make go beyond, with tremendous respect to him, the scope of re-examination. There are fresh allegations being made. We have sat patiently, and he seems to be, taking liberties that do not belong to re-examination. Let him constrain himself. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Ndegwa.
I'm well guided, Chair, and I'm actually winding. Kindly confirm to us that this receipt was, or this money was paid after the motion was domiciled within the Assembly.
True to your words, Council, through the Chair, was made on 17th of motion was tabled in the Assembly.
Marks the end of my re-examination in respect to this witness. If the time allows us, we'll call the next witness.
Thank you. That is detailed enough. And just before we call in the next witness, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, in the spirit of power sharing, and in recognizing women in leadership, you will allow me to invite my vice chair to continue chairing this session as I participate as a member. We call upon Honorable Abshiro Alake, upon the Sergeant at Arms, considering the Ministry of Health guidelines and the parliamentary health protocols. I will request the Sergeant at Arms to come and move with speed to sanitize our seats so that we may facilitate the exchange. Thank you. May God bless you. Honorable Alake, karibu sana.
one point I heard you say, at one point I heard you say that you got confused about this velocity and velocity, and you were not really sure whether it's one and the same. And at one point, on cross-examination, you actually say it's one and the same, but on the examination, you said they are two different. What you know about this, is it one and the same, or from your own, did you do any investigation to different? That is one. Two, I see documents for velocity or velocity, and they kept giving you different documents. If you requested for this document were given to you, I also see a bundle of documents here, tenders, very big list of tender documents, and a lot of documents from the executive. How comes you're saying that they were not supplying documents, yet you've been able to tell us at one point they're able to supply documents for you? Because one of the allegations is that you ask for things, you ask for information, you're not given. But here you have lots of submitted to us that were given. So I need a clarification on that. And then finally, you have indicated that you had indirect public participation and that you received memos and emails. I have not seen a single item you have identified. Maybe you can identify to us whether you have in your motion any of those memos or emails to show that public participation was actually done. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Kajwang.
Madam Chair, to the Honourable Member, and they are so precise that I wish you would amend your ruling so that you could just deal with them directly. Number one, in the motion and the charges, you have noted that the tender for design, development, installation, and commissioning of the hospital management information system
Senator Kajwang, can you speak a bit up, please?
Had been completed by the previous county government. Is there anywhere in this pack where we will get evidence to that fact? Does it exist in the pack?
To the Chair.
Senator Kajwang, just finish both of yours. I think because the last person, it will be quite fresh. No. Then for this first round, Chair, we'll take three and then we'll take, and he's the last person, so you can start with yours when we start.
Okay, fine. I'll abide by your ruling, but it would have been much easier for the Honourable Member to respond directly. So please just give us the evidence that this system was implemented by the previous administration. And number two, you have asserted that no work was done. You could also provide us with evidence for us to establish that no work was done. And then thirdly, it's on interest management. If I draw your attention to the PFM regulations for county governments, Regulation 93.6 talks about interest management. And you might not have the benefit of looking at it, but it says, in event an interest holder fails to account, the accounting officer shall take immediate action to recover the amount from the salary of the defaulting officer and with interest at prevailing central bank rates. Is there evidence that the accounting officer attempted to recover the amounts from the governor and the governor either refused? You probably might need to share that with us to help us make a determination. Thank you, Chair.
Mheshimiwa, can you please go for the three and then we'll take a next round. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I want to start by the question from Senator Kwaboka, and I'm happy to note that she admits that she was once an MCA, and she can confirm actually that MCAs go through while dealing with these governors. Chair, I want to confirm that we and Chair, there is a matter that is under active investigation to an extent of as. Therefore, Chair, with that threat and the fact that we know that we are politicians, and when it comes to politics, it's a matter of numbers. We want to make sure that our numbers as MCAs and the prosecutors of this motion is intact. This offended anybody by spending the night in the assembly. We spent the night in the various sections of the assembly, aware that there are two genders. They had the area where they spend the male, they know where they spend.
Evidence.
Chair, I know this one is being derived from a photo that was being circulated all over, to which, Chair, I want to say that we spent the night in the assembly, but that photo, whoever who go by that photo, encourage him to authenticate the photo. But the confirmation is we spent the night in the assembly. And we have observed all the Ministry of Health guidelines. Next is Senator Farrell and Veropti. Chair, we did our due diligence and we tried to search for this company, Chair. And number one, I said initially in my submission that we are living in a digital era. Go to the eCitizen account and enter the C12 or the registration number of this company. Chair, you realize there doesn't exist such a company. The same case applies to, but if you go and do further research, you see Velocity is a multinational company that deals with. So I want to confirm that we actually did the search online and this company does not exist. Request for document. I want to say that it has been a challenge when we seek for this document from the executive. However, there was the document on the evaluation of this tender. And in line with that, Chair, we also got a copy of the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, a copy of a report that the executive was supposed to respond on matters, tenders, some of them that we are questioning. And Chair, I want to confirm that even the public PPRA also challenges the authenticity of this company. Chair, this is a document that is available for the senators perusal to confirm the same. Way of doing the public participation. In that I meant there are various platforms and ways in which you can conduct public participation. In our ordinary ways, when we have ordinary times like when there was no COVID-19, we in mind that we were prosecuting this motion in an era of the challenge of the COVID-19. We devised other means. And Chair, we are all aware and conversant of the fact that we are holding our meetings online. There are the online channels, the like of Zoom, that we operate our meeting. We gave the governor the opportunity to go online and have an opportunity for fair hearing. Chair, in line with the public participation, there is an advert that we run in our news circulation requiring our people to submit written memoranda. At the same time, notifying them that there will be questionnaires that will be circulated. Chair, these are bundles and bundles of question responses that can be availed, and at the same time, the advert, it's obvious that it's available, and some of these are available in our archives.
Chair, on that one, I didn't ask whether they are part of what we have before the Senate.
Mheshimiwa, can you just answer that directly, please?
I want to be very precise on that. Chair, the procedure of doing a motion for removal, you first of all, then you invite the members of public after doing the motion. Then participation is not captured anywhere in the motion. However, it is upon us or upon me as the mover of the motion to provide evidence that actually the public participation was conducted by the County Assembly of Kirinyaga.
Senator Farrell, are you satisfied with that, or do you have a follow-up question before?
I don't know why he's not just telling us that either he has the evidence here or not. It's as simple as that.
Chair, the advert is available. The questionnaire there are the bundles that may be availed at a convenient time provided. From the senator from Mambi. Chair, on completion of this for velocity installation of the software for the hospital, Chair, I want to confirm that the next witness that is to come to the floor is the first CC Health and Medical Services in Kirinyaga County who resigned out of frustration. And Chair, the CEC will be better positioned to confirm that actually this system had been installed over the medical services. That's the much I can say. It is in connection with that, Chair, that actually a system was in place. I ask myself a simple question. If the system was in place, which other are you advertising for works to be done? That will be my simple explanation on the same. Matters impressed. Chair, I said it was a challenge to us when we do write to the Chief of Staff and the CEC to produce especially the cash, the cash book. Chair, actually bears most of these impressed that are accrued and unaccounted for. But remember, Chair, in the cash book will be attached a voucher that will confirm was incurred or not, or this money was picked up or not. I would request the Senator for Hamambe, please, at the point whereby the to give witness impressed or not, and in the event he made an attempt, why was it not executed? Or did the governor approve it? We can get
your question.
Yes, Chair, I think he's deferred some of the questions to the next witness, so we can.
So we'll take the next round of questions from the senators. Beth Mugo has sent in her question. I will ask her to. Beth, would you like to ask your question directly, and then we'll take from. Are you able to ask directly, Senator Mugo?
No, it's okay. I sent my question concerning whether I think you can, concerning the health and whether the connection of the governor with the Minister for Health. That was one part, and then there was. You have the question there.
Okay, we'll ask it on your behalf. Let me then give Senator Githiomi. I'll repeat Senator Beth Mugo's question directly as she had texted it in. Senator Githiomi?
Yeah. Chair, my questions are fairly simple, but I want them answered. One about by the county government, the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado did the county assembly allow the purchase or approve the purchase of this vehicle? You had some few and the assembly we had the other simple question is, there is a contract between the Ministry of Transport and various motor vehicle companies. They have even given the prices such that they will go direct to the transport at the industrial area, and they will be directed who sells what the vehicles that they want and their cost. Is the county assembly aware of this? And if they are aware of this, why was it a big buying this one vehicle? Because there are several county assemblies are buying various vehicles. For example, my county assembly, we bought 15 vehicles at a go and tractors. And there wasn't much of questioning how they are being bought because they went straight to the Minister of Public Works, prices and the type of vehicles they wanted to buy, and the companies which is the county assembly aware of this? And if they are aware, why was it a big issue?
Thank you, Senator. Senator Malala, Chairman.
Thank you, Chair. Just on the same question of motor vehicles, I want to ask Honorable David, you are alive of the fact that supplementary budgets are passed by county assembly. This is done by the executive. And if so, do you have any knowledge in the Public Finance Management Act that requires the county assembly to pass the supplementary budget ratifying expenditure of the executive? And if so, you knew about the to purchase the said motor vehicles, and yet you went the supplementary budget. Does this mean that you also participated in a process that is not lawful?
Thank you, Senator Malala. Another round. The witness doesn't get overwhelmed with the questions. Senator Anwar, Lamu.
Okay, thank you so much.
Please.
Thank you so much, Chair. Through witness number one, Honorable David, maybe we'll make a clarification on this. Is of a lady known as Pauline Kamau. What's her position in the current government, county government, and in alignment with that, CGK stroke TR 02 stroke 01 stroke 2017 to 2018. Tender number 2 is CGK.
Excuse me, I'm ready now.
2 stroke 039 stroke 2017. And lastly is tender number CGK stroke M0E stroke O stroke 036 stroke 2017-2018. My question will be, is there any supporting document aligned to Pauline Njoroge or to the governor, Anne Waiguru? Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Answer those three, then we can take.
Thank you, Chair. I want to start by the question from Senator for Nyandarua, Honorable Senator Githiomi. Question on the purchase of this vehicle, and I want to join this by Senator for Kakamega, Honorable Marara, is about the same thing. Matters budget is the county assembly that passed the budget, but the budget originates from the executive. Chair, the county of Kirinyaga submitted the budget with the vote on purchase of vehicle as a vote under recurrent, vote under development. Therefore, at the point when the requisition for the purchase was being prosecuted, the Controller of Budget rejected the requisition. That purchase of vehicle is recurrent in nature. It's not development. Therefore, the county government of Kirinyaga was required to go and initiate a supplementary budget in which the money will be relocated from development to recurrent. This was in the month of October, Chair. The supplementary budget that was brought to Kirinyaga County Assembly was submitted in the month of March the 4th. On the process of budgeting, all waiting until the supplementary budget is finished by the County Assembly of Kirinyaga, the county government of Kirinyaga went ahead to secure a facility with a bank. And therefore, that the governor undermines the authority of the county assembly. It's required by the County Government Act that any borrowing must be sanctioned, approved by the county assembly, which did not happen. Note, in this bank, the bank did not commit itself in signing or stamping the offer, and this brings out the this issue arose. There is an account for contractors. Once a contractor does certain work, there is a fee that is deducted from the payment, and it's deposited in an account referred for contractors account, which is run by the county government. Point when the contractors started seeking for payment, and at that point, this money has already been committed as a security to a loan or to a facility. So the question is, isn't this an irregularity? Isn't this an illegality? Isn't this not undermining the authority of the county assembly? So we are not questioning the fact that the county assembly budgeted for money for this vehicle and it was not done or it was done. The question is the process and undermining the authority of the county assembly. We're informed the provisions of the County Government Act and PFMA. Hope I've answered that area of the purchase of. Next chair for Nyandarua and the senator for Kakamega. Next is Ramu senator. The question about Pauline.
Chair, before the Lamu senator. And this the contract between the Minister of Public Works or what? The contract they have with the various motor vehicle companies. Governors normally go to the Minister of Transport at the industrial area, and they're given the companies that are selling. So they go to them directly to purchase because there's an agreement. So they don't need to advertise for this. I wanted you to answer that.
Chair, I don't arrive to the fact that there is such an agreement, a framework agreement between the government of Kenya and various provider of that service. And I'm aware, in fact, in the previous, in the year 2017-2018, the county government purchased a fleet of vehicles via such an agreement, of which we don't charge because it was done within the provision of law and that framework. So I don't dispute that. Chair, I proceed to the Senator Forum, and is about Pauline Kamau. Chair, you may not understand the name Pauline Kamau is featuring in the whole of this motion. Chair, attention that when Governor Waiguru assumed office in the month of September 2017, designate the person who was being paid by the county government of Kirinyaga assistant is one Pauline Kamau. Chair, at some point, without any knowledge of as to why, the governor decided that my PA would have to be promoted from a to administration. We realize after Pauline is appointed as the director administration, we're aware that at the point of her appointment, there was a substantive director for administration. And Chair, I want to bring to the attention of why some of these county governments are having bloated wage bill. Is the fact that there is when a governor comes in office, find there is a director procurement, you redeploy that director and you employ another director. That means you have two officers doing the same function. In Kirinyaga, we have several director budgeting. Another director was employed. This is administration, and there is another. And this deployment, once the director you are not given the duties, you are just told to go and report in a certain ministry, and no duties are allocated to you. Administration. Go back to the that recruits complains to recruit and at the same time want you must hold a minimum she did a diploma from Nyeri Tech way back 10 years ago. Certificate from NEC, no secondary school certificate, nothing other than a KRA certificate share. Why wouldn't it in an out of wonder that this person, a position that does not exist, person who is not qualified, recruit, she automatically becomes the chairperson of majority of the tender committees in the county. So that is what we are questioning. And that's governor, here, you push for appointment as director administration, she sits in all the committees. You can connect. Why? Basically, that would be my explanation.
Fantastic. Honorable aside, very quickly, Honorable Mpaye, but I think Honorable Beth Mugo says she's ready now.
So, but now ready.
Yes, please go ahead.
I have a question on procurement and on health. I'm asking, were the accounting officers, tender evaluation committees, person responsible for procurement of procuring investigated prior to allegations against the governor? And two, was the county executive committee member for health investigated or questioned prior to allegations being made against the governor? Were other methods of resolving issues surrounding this impeachment, especially the health sector, attempted by the county executive committee's member for health prior to the impeachment motion against the governor, particularly with respect to implementing legislation of the county departments? I'm and policies of running different of a government. And I would think that is the first stop before even going to the governor. Was any of those taken? Did you do any of those?
Thank you very much, Senator. I think those are very direct, Honorable Kinyua. You're going to answer, but let me just take one from Honorable Mpaye.
Mine is on tender number CGK M 2017 to 2018. Down the paragraph, and I will read, it says, in regard of conflict of interest and in furtherance of a corruption and joint criminal enterprise by the governor. I want to ask here, how did they arrive at the name joint criminal enterprise? Concerning that, if a person is to be named a criminal, he must have gone through a court of law. The question is, have they ever taken this? And if yes, what was the verdict?
Thank you very much, Honorable Kinyua. Please, very briefly.
Thank you, Chair. I want to start by the senator from one of the question from one of our great mother of this nation, Honorable Betty Mogo, on accounting.
Loudly so she can hear, because she's behind you. More.
Betty Mogo, and on investigation. Chair, I want to say that the county assemblies do not have powers to investigate. County assemblies have powers to looking at the document and overseeing the whole of that process. And Chair, the main problem and the reason as to why she reached to a level of impeachment, because I've had the senator ask basically what she wanted to know, was it the last option? Chair, I want to say that this was the last option. CECs to our assembly, and some of them have failed to appear in the, and they are saying to us that they have direct instruction from the governor not to come to the assembly. The same CECs, the CEC cannot append a signature to a letter of the assembly without the approval of the governor. Chair, the county secretary is on record while interrogating him in the assembly, confirming that actually unrecorded statement. What can you deduce that from a county secretary, a senior officer who felt that this was, we have made attempts to go to the governor's office in person. Some of us, we are left there just watching her leaving, issuing insult to us. So I want to say that it was the last resort for us, and we had no other option. The CC, actually, the only CC held who has been in office in Kirinyaga County resigned and will actually be appearing on this desk, and Senator Mugo will get a better clarification from her. Next is Senator for Kajiando. District investigation is a function of DCI and EACC. And Chair, I want to confirm this. We are speaking. Some issues are being investigated by EACC, and some officers in the county government of Kirinyaga have been summoned by EACC to give evidence and information. Therefore, investigations are ongoing. Chair, how can you prove to us that you are the Chief Officer Finance?
Point of order.
Yes, what's your point of order?
Chair, I think in the interest of time, we are taking a lot of time getting the response from the Honorable MCA, considering that we had 3 hours, 30 minutes for the entire case. Is it possible then we abide by your earlier ruling on the allocation of time per section so that we move? We have 2 more witnesses to handle, and we are looking at the time. It's already 5:30. Is it possible to shorten your responses so that we move on?
Actually, this would be your last response. Please keep it very brief so that we can move on.
Chair, I'll be very brief. Okay. And my point was on conflict of interest, that we have the Chief Officer Finance, who is Mogondadi, Eva Trading, a company that secure majority of the tenders in Kirinyaga County government, owned by a brother to Mogo. The shareholders are sisters, brothers, and children to the same family. Therefore, Madam Chair, I will say that automatically there is conflict of interest, and this is matter under investigation.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Kinyua. Now your witness, you can step down, and we can move on to the next one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, with a lot of respect, would you allow me to make a closing remark?
Now, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. The reason as to why I've asked this opportunity is the fact that I'm a member of Kirinyaga County Assembly, and not an outsider. I was elected to conduct certain functions which are legally provided and constitutional. However, Chair, I want to request the honorable senators not to look at this matter on the face value. Let's scrutinize these documents in detail, Chair, and make sure that...
What's your point of order, Senator Mazai?
Kindly restrict the the witness from addressing issues that the defense counsel of Waiguru will not have an opportunity to respond to. Because these are closing remarks, I thought it was just fair that once he has given evidence, that's more than enough. I think we have given them enough latitude on that aspect.
Honorable Kinyua, I indulge you because I thought, you would keep to the subject matter, maybe to conclude, to just say that you got an opportunity, but please keep it. Then you have got 1 minute left. Do not go into details. This committee is seized of everything. We have volumes of documents. We are going to make sure that justice is served. So please keep it. And you've had a lot of opportunity to actually talk your mind, even with the questions that were asked. So keep it short and let's conclude this.
Chair, I'll conclude in 30 minutes. Okay. I would say seconds. That 30 seconds, sorry. Let justice be done and be seen to be done to the resident of Kirinyaga, since we are the representative and we are just conducting our oversight mandate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Thank you for taking the stand. Let's have the next witness. And I'd like to repeat again, let's go back to the timings. We're going to be very strict with timings now. Examination in chief, 15 minutes. We're not going to go beyond that now. Then we'll have the cross-examination, 10 minutes. Very strict now. And then perhaps the re-examination, 5 minutes. Please, counsel, keep to that.
Thank you, Chair.
And please ask the witnesses also to be very concise when it comes to their responses, please.
I'm well guided, Chair, and thank you for the opportunity to call our next witness. Our next witness is a doctor, Dr. Gaur Godi Kirit Kurba. She has filed her evidence. It is at the back of the big volume, right at the back. Right at the back. Yes, right at the back, titled Witness Statements of Dr. Gaur Godi. She will exclusively be limited to that statement and the annexures thereto.
Let's find the, before she takes the oath, let's find the, honorable members, have you found it? Have you found the witness statement? So that we're on the same page? You may proceed.
She may take oath.
Please proceed.
I, Dr. Gaur Gudi Kirit Kumar, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this special committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Dr. Gaur, we are constrained of time, and so we shall move very fast so that we can address the interest of time. Kindly address the members of the Senate committee as to your full names and your qualifications and your current positioning.
My name is Dr. Gaur Gudi. I'm the branch secretary for Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union for Central Branch. Central Branch is the former Central Province. I'm also a senior medical officer. I'm a holder of degree in medicine and surgery as well. I am a senior medical officer serving in the Nyeri County. Thank you.
Doctor, what are your qualifications? Do you hold a degree in medicine and?
Medicine and surgery.
In this case, how do you get connected to testify, or why do you come to testify on behalf of the County Assembly of Kirinyaga?
As I said previously, I represent the doctors in Central. Kirinyaga is one of the counties that are in Central. And as such, when there is an outcry from a county that I am representing in terms of membership welfare, I immediately get involved. I'm an elected leader of KMPDU.
You're aware that the governor is facing accusations of having run down the entire health sector in Kirinyaga County, yes?
Yes.
What would you testify to that effect? How has she run down, testify to the committee, how has she run down the facility? When did the running down of the facility commence? And what are the consequences of that running down?
Sure. I request for the indulgence from this honorable committee. This whole issue of the deplorable state in Kirinyaga County started all the way from 2017. We have documentation to show the same effect. Several meetings and several letters were done to the governor and the county health offices, but they all went unanswered.
Madam Chair, perhaps through you and maybe just by way of guidance, the witnesses seem to be reading from scripts. I can see them, you can't see them from where you are sitting. They're reading from a script other than a statement. Perhaps those who have filed statements, if they can constrain themselves to their statement and not any handwritten script, then the ends of justice will be best served. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Dr. Gore, please, could you keep to the statement so that then we are dealing with what has been submitted to us and we're not introducing new stuff, please?
Sure, Doctor. Maybe before you go further, would you want to adopt this statement as your statement? And would you wish to rely on it in these proceedings?
Affirmative.
Much obliged. Proceed.
So the issue started in 2017, where the autoclave that is used to sanitize and sterilize equipments for surgical equipments and linens broke down. Incinerator, a machine that is used to dispose infectious waste like amputated limbs and placenta from mothers, broke down, and several letters were done to the the county, including the governor, letting her know that these issues have been going on, and lack of repairing of these important machines can lead to spread of infection to the workers in the hospital, to the patients, and to the community at large. But the steps were not taken, and as I speak today, the incinerator and autoclave have still not yet been fixed. Infectious wastes are being disposed in the hospital grounds that is accessible to patients, other health workers, and the community at large. Actually, where the waste products have been disposed, as it has been shown severally on television, is close to the pediatric ward, where we have the children. That has caused a lot of problems. Lack of linens in the hospital. Mothers that had just delivered did not have clothes to wear. They had to go and see their children in the newborn unit with lessons that they bring from home because hospital could not have its linen. The linen were being cleaned at the Karatina hospital at a very minimal load because the hospital itself has their own linens to do. This led to a lot of infections in the newborn unit. I am talking about neonates. These are small babies. They are not even 28 days. They have not even learned to smile. And they get infection because of a dirty hospital. We have to start giving them poison. Medicine is essentially poison in low dose to kill actively living bacteria in your body. We have to start pumping poison in these neonates at a very early age. What does that mean for that child going on? They will have resistance to antibiotic. It increases the use of resource in this child or this patient should they get sick again. The deplorable hospital condition does not just affect the people who are in, it affects Wanjiko in general, because at the end of the day, the government hospitals are what is accessible to the public. As if that is not enough, the dispensary in the clinic, in the county was shut down, meaning that we do not, as we speak in Kirinyaga right now, there is grave lacking of promotive and preventive health, meaning that vaccination, advice on non-communicable diseases like diabetes and hypertension that is prevalent in central region cannot be done. What does that also mean? That the hospitals like Kerugoya level 5 is overburdened with those kind of services, and therefore they cannot do what a level 5 should do, that is palliative and curative health. That has led to many patients being overburdened in Nyeri County. I work in that county. 50% of my patients in the ward are from Kirinyaga County. As if that was not enough, all the other unions, after realizing that letters being done from the county health committees and even the former CEC, Dr. Agnes, all the communication about the dilapidation of the hospital was ignored, and all these letters were delivered to the governor's office. After the county officers failed, the unions had to come in for the welfare of their doctors and their other health workers. What happened? On the 13th of May, we did a presser, and we requested the governor to make sure that the hospital is up to date, because the casual laborers that were trained and specialized in managing human waste, hospital waste segregation and management, handling of patients from casualty to the wards, from theater to the wards, were fired, which made the entire deplorable condition even worse, because the casuals that were hired after that were untrained, meaning that they do not know the proper ablution methods, they do not know how to do waste segregation and management. That further worsened the condition of the hospital. Patients started sleeping on just Macintoshes. The wards were so dirty, and 3 health workers contracted hepatitis B and C. It's important to note that hepatitis B and C eventually predisposes these health workers to liver cancer in the next 10 to 15 years, should they remain completely healthy. That is not something that we can guarantee. Other living facilities in the hospital that is given to the health workers is riddled with asbestos. Asbestos is the single most agent causing mesothelioma. That is an aggressive lung cancer. That goes against the Occupational Safety and Health Act. Our workers, not only are their lives in danger, but as we speak now, they have been fired for over 1 year. And I'd like to note that they were fired even before the strike was deemed illegal and unprotected. The reason why health workers in Kirinyaga had to go on strike is because we exhaustively searched for everything that we could possibly do to negotiate this crisis in the county, but we could not get any communication from the governor's office. As we followed up from 2017 to 2019, we kept getting answers that there is no money to upgrade the health facilities and all those things. To mitigate that, we went to the county assembly on the 2nd of July. We swore an oath and we made our case, where we were assured by the chairman of the finance committee that 1.5 billion shillings was allocated to health to mitigate this exact crisis that has happened. That's when we realized that we are lacking goodwill from the CEO of the county in order to mitigate this crisis. That is the genesis of our strike. And as I speak right now, all the issues we went on strike for, lack of proper equipments, human resource, the doctor-patient ratio in Kirinyaga is 1 to 30,000. We only have 6-7 consultants, that is one of each. WHO recommends one doctor to 1,000 patients. You can see that one doctor in that county is working for over 30 doctors, and still salaries don't come on time. They have not been promoted in 10 years. They are not taken for postgraduate studies, that is specialized studies. In Kirinyaga, we get a lot of patients with head injury. We have doctors who applied to go and do neurosurgery, but they were denied. They were denied. No specialization is happening. 3 doctors went to school to pursue their postgraduate studies, but they were unprocedurally fired. We wrote letters asking the county why they were fired. We never received back any communication. And I'd like the Honorable Committee to note that since 2017, all the communications that we have done through the union, none of them have been answered. Even the dispute, the labor dispute that we registered with the Ministry of Labor was not responded to by the county of Kirinyaga. So as I speak right now, I have never received I have never had a chance to sit down with the CEO of Kirinyaga County and discuss health matters at all. Even when we had informal meetings, we used to be stood up. So I can say openly that in health, we need to feel leadership, because health is not a matter of joke. When a patient dies, we cannot recover that. And when the specialists in your county, the people whom you have hired to take care of your health, tell you that indeed people are dying after surgery because the linens we are using on them have blood from other patients because the autoclave is not working, the governor should take it seriously. When we say that the kitchen, the hospital kitchen is dirty, the drainage is terrible and is causing hospital-acquired infection, the governor should take it seriously. When you employ a specialist and you don't take their advice, you're doing a disservice to yourself, to that person, and to community in general. Thank you.
Just to clarify some issues, you spoke about the shutting down of some dispensaries, yes?
Yes.
Are you aware who might have authorized the shutting down of those dispensaries?
Yes, we were told that that order came from the CEO of the county, citing lack of funds to run the health facilities.
I gather you to mean the CEO, the governor?
Yes.
How many dispensaries were shut down?
Over 30 dispensaries.
You know the reasons as a regional representative why they were shut down, and are they in operation today?
They are not in operation. We even have a letter from the public health officer in Kirinyaga who did a letter to the governor telling the governor that the dispensaries are dilapidated, the grass is at the level of the hip, that is where pests like snakes are roaming around in the hospital. For example, Kebembe Hospital, we have incidences of snakes entering the theater. When the doctor wants to operate, first you have to be a snake wrangler so that you can finally take care of your patient.
Daktari, you spoke about the issues of the casual workers who were fired, yes?
Yes.
What time were they fired? Before the strike or after this, during the subsistence of the strike?
During the subsistence of the strike.
Had the strike been declared illegal by the Labor and Relations Court?
No.
Could you be knowing whether the governor was involved in the firing of the said casual workers?
Yes. Yes, and there's even a public statement to the same effect.
Who made the public statement?
The governor of Kirinyaga.
You speak to the issues of the surrounding environment relating to the situation in which your doctors work in, yes?
Yes.
And you allege that, or you state that there are some asbestos roofing.
Yes.
Which hospitals are roofed with the asbestos?
The Kirinyaga Hospital and the houses.
The Kiregoya Hospital.
Kiregoya Hospital and the houses within the hospital that houses the health workers.
Has your union made any attempts to have that issue looked into or rectified?
Several times, especially after the arrival of the Cuban doctors. We realized that the Kenyan doctors have horrible housing. We tried to address it, but we could not get back any communication. You speak in your statement at paragraph 8, you speak about reinstated 77 health workers, yes? Yes.
When were they reinstated and who ordered or authorized their reinstatement?
During the strike, the governor had given us an olive branch that should the health workers go back to work, they'd be reinstated. 77 health workers went back to work in July last year, but their salaries were never paid up to date until on last Monday, the court gave the judgment to have the reinstated health workers be paid. They worked for almost a year without salary after reinstatement.
Did you...
Counsel, your time is up. I was just waiting for her to finish that sentence, so you may sit.
Pledged.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gore. Thank you very much. I think we have heard the submission of Dr. Gore. Now we will go to the cross-examination, and the cross-examination will take us just 10 minutes. So, Counsel, please, let's keep time.
I shall endeavor to keep time. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Daktari, if I may address you as Daktari, good evening. My name is Paul Diamodi, and I am the advocate on record for Her Excellency the Governor of Kirinyaga, Madam Anne Waiguru. I want to ask you a question, and really just to put your testimony into perspective. You impressed me with your knowledge and your passion about the matters health in not just Kirinyaga but Central at large. Tell me, have you testified before the County Assembly in Kirinyaga or a committee of that assembly?
Yes, I have, on the 2nd of July, 2019.
All right. Subsequent to the beginning of April this year, have you appeared before the County Assembly of Kirinyaga or a committee of that assembly?
No.
All right. Now, this committee is really here to seek the truth. And the truth is very important in respect of this matter. Impeachment of a governor is no small matter, and the truth is important. When is your statement dated?
19th June 2020.
19th June 2020. If my memory serves me right, that is Friday last week.
Yes.
All right. Now, I want you to tell the committee the invitation, the manner and the content of the invitation you got to make that statement. Who called you? What did they tell you?
I was called by the mover of the motion. They requested me to be a chief witness in the provision of the health, and if I can be able to witness and give my testimony that indeed, without the goodwill of the governor, the hospital have been deplorable.
All right. Do you remember when that took place?
Yes.
When did that important call from the mover of this motion come?
I think it was the 13th.
The 13th
of June.
Very important date. So really, you are here to add weight to the mover of the motion's voice after they have impeached the governor.
No, I'm here to speak on behalf of the dilapidated healthcare in Kirinyaga and fired 457 health workers.
I will allow the committee to make their own mind up about why you are here. But thank you for being truthful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council.
I'm not
Oh, you're not
finished.
done.
I'm not finished. We were just getting to know each other. That's the beginning. Now I want to get into the substance of my cross-examination. I believe I still have another 8 minutes, madam.
You do. I just thought you had ceded your time. But go for it.
I appreciate her candor, so I was just thanking her
Okay.
for it. So I'll ask you again, and it's a little repetitive. Why are you here? In what capacity are you here? You have told us you are a doctor. Do you practice medicine in Kirinyaga County?
No, I don't.
All right. Do you have the ability to admit patients in hospital in Kirinyaga County?
No, I don't.
All right. So you are here under the other hat that you wear as a trade unionist.
I am here to speak on behalf of the Kirinyaga doctors as their leader.
In their leader as a doctor, their leader as a union leader. What hat do you wear?
You can't really separate a doctor from who they are. So I am a doctor that's a union leader.
A doctor practices medicine, admits patients. You don't do either.
I do, but in another county, not in Kirinyaga County.
So in Kirinyaga, you are not a doctor?
No.
All right. You have testified about the state of certain equipment, an autoclave, an incinerator, and you don't practice medicine, but you know that they are either not there or not working.
Yes.
All right. Would you know, or would you find it strange if I were to tell you that in the financial year 2018-2019, the amount of, the not insignificant amount of 23 million shillings was budgeted for the purchase of an incinerator by the county government in conjunction with the Assembly of Kirinyaga?
And Council, if you were to look at my statement, you'd see in some of the documents that I've given, there are letters written from the hospital committee talking about the incinerator having the bricks broken way after that 2018, that budgetary allocation.
All right.
Yes.
Just answer my question. 10 minutes is not a long
Dr.
time.
You have to talk through the chair,
Sorry.
not directly the council.
Noted.
All right. There is something that you also have made very heavy going of, and it is the state of asbestos roofs. Asbestos roofs are, if I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong, roofs that were, or a roofing material that was used historically because it was cheap and it was thought to be efficient.
Yes.
All right. Do you know when Madam Waiguru became the governor of Kirinyaga County?
About 4 years ago.
Give me a year. Do you know what year it was?
2016.
All right. Now, do you know when those asbestos roofs were fitted on those buildings?
No, I don't.
All right. And are those asbestos roofs only on the health facilities?
Through the chair, I wouldn't know that kind of information. What I'm aware of is the welfare of my health workers. When my health workers tell me that they are living in a house, and I like the way the council has said that materials that were used historically are still permanently there in 2020, I don't think that the question stands. If the governor wished and was an effective leader in health management, that asbestos would have been removed a long, long time ago, because we started complaining about this from 2017. Thank you.
That was not your testimony, but thank you at least for saying that the reason you're here is for the welfare of health workers. That was a little difficult, but thank you for saying it now. Now, you have collected all the ills, real, perceived, and otherwise, and placed them at the door of the governor. Yes, the governor may be the chief executive of the county, but there are other officers within the county structures who are responsible for health, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Through the chair, as I stated earlier, we exhausted all these offices. By the time we were coming to Kirinyaga, the CEC had resigned. We had a meeting with the chief health officer on the 24th, I think. It's in my statement. We had a meeting with him. He also noted that it was important to sit down, and that letter was written to the governor, that it was important to sit down and talk with the healthcare workers on the same issue. Yes.
All right. I want to perhaps hazard a guess or hazard a suggestion as to why you have placed all these either perceived or real issues at the door of the governor. Agnes Kashoki. Does that name ring a bell?
Yes.
Who is she?
The former CC Health, Kirinyaga County.
And to you, who is she?
We have never met.
Have you practiced medicine together? Are you friends? Do you know her?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I want to read you a paragraph from her statement. And this is a statement that is filed here. It says, on the issue of running down of the Kirinyaga health sector, I wish to join issues with the statement of Dr. Gaur Godi Kirit Kumar, you, who is the regional representative of KMPDU and who I worked with closely during my tenure as CEC responsible for health, and whom I currently continue to work with in my private practice. Tell the truth. Do you know her?
We have never worked closely in medical field.
You don't practice medicine together?
No, we don't. She's a specialist and I'm a medical officer.
Is she lying?
I'd rather she comes and answers the question.
Nothing else for this witness. She's not very helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Re-examination?
5 minutes.
Dr.
Yes.
A question has been put to you by my senior learned friend, Mr. Nyamondi, as to whether you appeared before any committee.
Yes.
And your answer was in negative, that you never appeared before the county assembly during the time of the impeachment.
Yes.
You are, however, invited to testify on the question of the health status.
Yes.
Where do you draw your competence from insofar as the testifying on behalf of Kirinyaga County is an issue? Is it from your current engagement as an officer of the KPMDU?
Yes.
Do you get regular reports and do you have opportunities of visiting those facilities as an officer of the KPMDU currently?
Yes, I do.
From your testimony, has the situation improved in Kirinyaga County?
Not one bit. In fact, it has worsened.
You are aware that the county government is building or is constructing a multi-billion project?
Yes, I am.
And it is being constructed in the midst of your officers living in health hazard houses?
Yes.
And no priority was granted to such kind of renovation?
Not at all.
Where does the buck rest? Who bears the burns? Is it the CEC or is it the governor?
From my through the chair, from my various engagement with the county assembly CEC chief health officer, I have come to realize and make a conclusion that without the goodwill of the governor in Kirinyaga County, nothing moves.
No further questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we've kept time. Let's keep the same. I'm going to allow senators to quickly, any clarifications that you need from Dr. Gore. I think it was very clear, but if anybody has anything else for clarifications only, keep it short, honorable members. Anybody? Let me start with Senator Mbito, and then I'll go my way this way. Senator Mbito, then Senator Lamu, then Senator Pareno, in that order, please. Very quickly, minute each.
I'll just have a quick one for Daktari. Do you feel that the issues you've raised today are unique for Kirinyaga County, or is it also happening in other counties? You're the representative of how many counties?
5 counties.
So the issues you've raised today, are they unique in Kirinyaga County, or just for the region? Yeah?
To the chair, most issues are unique to the county. Most counties in Central Branch are not that dilapidated in terms of healthcare.
Yeah, and are you aware about the MES program, the Medical Managed Equipment Scheme program?
Yes.
Where autoclaves are being supplied?
Yes.
Would you say that Kirinyaga County was not supplied autoclaves, or what?
I wouldn't be privy to such information.
Because you're saying there's no the autoclave broke down.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's all.
Senator Anwar?
Okay, thank you so much, Chair. A brief one, Dr. Bor. Okay, you said you are a doctor, but you don't practice in Kirinyaga County.
Yes.
Yes. Your colleagues in Kirinyaga County, have they ever made any communication to the governor, or have a meeting to the governor and the governor has discussed them, or there's nothing prior to that?
Through the chair, we have tried communicating through the governor, the doctors' union, the clinical officers' union, the nurses' union, the lab officers, and other amorphous. We have tried writing letters to the governor directly, and not only did we not get her audience, we were chased away violently. For example, on the 26th of June, all health workers were tear gassed. And then later, 2 days later, when we went to the MCS to seek answers from the governor, we almost got tear gassed. So you can see the level of violence that we face. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe lastly, can the information that you have clarified be substantiated?
Absolutely. The tear gassing was televised.
Senator Pareno?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, God, for getting time to come and give us this statement. But I would like to know whether you have any evidence of, when you allege, like you say in your statement, that the trained casual laborers were fired and replaced by untrained casual laborers, leading to reduced efficiency, and also led to 3 health workers contracting hepatitis B and C. These are very serious allegations, and I would want to know whether you have any evidence, because I've perused through the annexures that you have given, and I don't see any evidence that any laborers were fired and replaced by untrained. That is one. Then the second one is because of that procedural firing of health workers, this led to death of pregnant mothers while delivering. That is a very serious allegation that would have called for you as a doctor, being the learned doctor you are, to have given us evidence that such death actually occurred. And I don't see any evidence or any documentation attached to show that there were actually deaths that were caused because of this.
Through the chair, the mortality records can be found at the sub-county records office for all the mortalities. And they can be attributable to...
Chair, that is not what I asked. You see, we are before the Senate. This is a committee. You have a statement. Why didn't you attach those records? Because we cannot now go fishing for records in the archives of the other offices. Are they here before you?
Through the chair, I'd like the council to respond. Council, do you have those evidence?
Chair, with your kind permission, allow me to draw the mandate of the committee, that the committee itself is mandated by the Act to conduct an investigation. So for purposes of aiding the process, it is procedurally fair that even the committee calls for those documents because they will aid the process. If you look at that, Section 33 of the County Government Act, one of the obligations of the committee is to conduct an investigation. That is the obligation of the committee, sui motu, on its own motion, can call for those documents if they want to establish the truth and the crux of the matter. It is an obligation, a statutory obligation. Much obliged.
But any allegations should be accompanied, in my understanding, as much as, of course, this is a fact-finding committee. If you allege, I think the burden of the proof should be on at least the basic. What she's asking is reasonable. That since you allege, can we find the support documentation? Don't you think?
Yes, Chair. We provided what was within our ability and humanly possible to provide, but that does not limit the powers of the committee under Section 33 to do their own investigation in search of the truth.
Noted.
Chair.
Okay, go ahead.
Chair, in other words, what the council is telling us is that we should now be the one to give evidence on their behalf. Is that what he's asking this committee to do? With due respect.
Madam Chair, my learned friend has argued a point of law. Can I respond on that point of law, please?
Okay, for 1 minute.
Now, Article 52 is very clear that there is a presumption of innocence on any person who is charged. That is a law in Kenya. And because of that presumption, there is an obligation on any party making any allegation to assert it. If you look at the Evidence Act, Section 107 going all the way to Section 110, it is very clear that he who asserts must prove.
That unit serves people from all over the region, Nyeri, Murang'a, Embu, because it is a very big unit with a surgical operation. So I was not willing to give up as yet, even though.
What made you give up?
I'm coming to that.
Yes, because of time.
Because of time. I would say there are many other things that went on, but what broke the camel's back, I may put it that way, I pleaded with I had constantly been talking to the governor, even on a personal level, because we used to meet in her office, myself and the chief officer of health, to plead with her so that we could employ more healthcare workers in the county. And I think the other witness who was before me has alluded to the shortage that was there in the county. We had a lot of staff that had retired, that had transferred to other countries, and also natural attrition. And we needed to replace these healthcare workers so that we can have good healthcare provision in the county. because the nurses were suffering, especially the nurses, I would say. Some were even getting miscarriages because they are overworked. They were working without leave. And I felt it as an obstetrician. Maternal and neonatal mortality is in my heart. I don't like to see a mother losing a baby. So we pleaded with her that we could actually employ these healthcare workers so that we can be able to operate all the healthcare centers and dispensaries. But I was shocked when she told me that I could go ahead and close the dispensaries.
Orders to close down the dispensaries.
The governor actually told me to go ahead and close the dispensaries.
She didn't find them useful to the people of Kirinyaga?
I think it was not her priority.
To have the facility fully functional?
Yes.
That is what you said was not her priority?
Yes. So I felt in my own capacity as a clinician and as a medical doctor, that was a step backwards in the universal health coverage.
The dispensaries eventually closed down?
They were eventually closed. Even the dispensary in my local village is closed down up to now.
So even that of your local area is not functional?
It's not functional.
Were you there? Were you serving during the strike of the doctors? Were you in service as a CEC?
Now, when I was instructed to close down some of the dispensaries because we didn't have enough healthcare workers, I said that I will not be the one to oversee the deterioration of healthcare in Kirinyaga. And at that point, I resigned. I tendered my resignation to the office of the governor.
So were you there during the time of the strike?
Immediately after my resignation, that's when the casual workers were all sacked, and that followed the doctor's strike. So I was not there during when they started their strike.
Are you aware whether a CEC to replace you was hired immediately or not?
I learned that there's one who has been hired recently.
After how long since your resignation?
After more than a year.
After more than a year?
Yes.
Is that a confirmation that the governor is not concerned about the health of the Kirinyaga County?
I would put it that way.
Now, you have indicated a tender number CGK ICT OT 046. 2017-2018, which relates to the installation of softwares in the county. Yes?
Yes.
Are you aware of that tender?
I'm very well aware because it was tendered during my tenure.
Who made the need request for that tender? Was it your department or the need came from elsewhere?
I would actually, Madam Chair, I would like this to be put in record that myself and the chief officer went to the governor's office and we had a conversation. We informed that there was already an existing healthcare management system that had been installed by the national government and it had just required activation. But she insisted on going ahead with the procurement. So we did not requisition for the
the need to procure did not come from the user department.
No.
Are you aware that these tenders, that is 047 and 046, were given to a company called Velocity or Velocity? You are aware?
I hear so, because I'm not in charge of procurement, but I heard that it was given to the Velocity company.
Are you aware whether at the time of your tenure, whether the software was working or not?
It was never installed. Even up to date, it has not been installed.
So there is no software of this nature?
No.
You have made, in your statement, you have confirmed and joined issues with your predecessor witness, Dr. Gore, that you actually agree with her insofar as the status of the health sector is in issue, yes?
Yes.
Is it your confirmation that up to date the status of the facility and the facilities in Kirinyaga County are still dilapidated?
I cannot confirm that right now because I am not working there. But I believe that because the healthcare workers were sacked, the status of the healthcare in Kirinyaga is still wanting.
Still wanting.
Yes.
Finally, as I finish up with you, how would you describe that status of the health facilities in Kirinyaga County currently?
I would say that it is really very sad to know that Kirinyaga County even after devolution, cannot be able to take care of its own residents for healthcare. Many of our residents are still going to Embu and Nyeri for healthcare because of the lack of facilities in our county.
Why do you attribute this to the governor?
Because she's the CEO of the county and in charge of all the departments, and it is upon her to improve the healthcare standards of Kirinyaga County residents.
One of the obligations under Section 33 of the County Government Act, Section 30, is that the governor should offer leadership in her CECs and administration of the county. Having served under her, would you confirm that she is capable of offering that leadership in the CECs and in the administration of the county?
I think leadership is something that the governor does not understand, because leadership is different from dictatorship. And when you lead people, you show them the way and you guide them. But, Madam Chair, the governor of Kirinyaga County dictates what is going to be done, and you just do it.
You're saying that there is serious lack of collective responsibility in the manner the CECs are run and organized in the county?
The CECs in the county, Madam Chair, are just there to ratify what the governor wants to be done.
Council, this would be...
I think I will yield the witness for cross-examination.
Okay,
Much obliged.
thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Agnes. Can we proceed to cross-examination?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. My learned colleague, Mr. Mushigi, will start, and we will share the time with him.
Much obliged, Madam Chair. Dr. Agnes,
yes.
I just wish to ask you two questions. The first, you have indicated that the issue of the procurement for the tender, the two tenders, was done by the governor directly. I want you to look at your statement, please. I want you to look at your statement, please. Your statement.
I recall what is in the statement. Yes.
Have you directly stated that in your statement? In your statement, this statement, have you said that?
I did not state that the procurement was done directly.
Thank you. I just want to confirm that.
And I'd like to clarify this, is that the user department did not requisition for the health service management system.
I will repeat my question again. You have said that you sat in your office, you sat in the office of a governor. What I'm asking is, in your statement, is there such evidence about you going to the governor's office when this decision was made?
There is, we did write in communication.
I'm asking about your statement.
Most of that, what I am saying, I came here to give evidence on what I wrote in my statement is about abuse of office, and I am giving evidence to ratify that. I am just making clarification explaining how the governor has abused.
Dr. Agnes, I will repeat my question again. And please remember, we don't have time. So I will ask you, if you look at the statement dated 20th June 2020, is there any place in that statement where you have mentioned that you had that sitting with the governor and that decision was made by the governor? Yes or no?
We do not record.
Thank you very much.
We do not record verbal conversations. And if you know how the governor works, and the council is just trying to deviate from the main point, our governor does not write things in writing. We did write advising her that there is already a management system in the county, but she told us, she instructed us to withdraw that from the file, and we did.
May I proceed, Madam Chair?
Let's proceed, Council.
Dr. good evening. My name is Paul Nyamodi, and I am the lead counsel for the governor in these proceedings. I just want us to start really at the beginning, and I want to ask you the direct question, Dr. Have you played any role? Have you played any role in the process of leading up to the governor's impeachment thus far?
No, I am not a politician, Madam Chair. I am here as a professional to offer my professional statement. I'm not a politician, so I don't involve myself with impeachment.
So you have played no role, you have not recorded a statement other than this one of the 20th?
No.
You have not testified before the county assembly, you have done nothing?
I don't do that. I am a professional.
Okay. Now I want us to look at your statement. I hope you have a copy in front.
Yes.
And I want you to look at the beginning of the second paragraph, where you state, I am, however, aware that the governor is now facing an impeachment motion. Do you see that part?
Yes, I do.
I want to ask you the question, Daktari, how did you know that the governor is now facing an impeachment motion?
It's been all over in the media, Madam Chair. Everybody knows in the whole country.
Okay.
That's how I learned about the impeachment.
All right. Now, you have told a very compelling story, and I must congratulate you for what sounds like a sterling career as a medical practitioner. Congratulations for that. But, Daktari, that story is surprisingly absent from your statement.
Because the statement was to be brief and to the point. And what I'm saying is that what I have said here today is to qualify.
Let me just stop you there.
Yes.
It was to be brief and to the point.
Yes.
To what point was your statement to be, Daktari? Can I be of assistance?
Let me.
You're having some difficulty. Can I be of assistance?
I'm going to answer you. Just
okay.
Be patient.
Go ahead.
Now, in my statement, I have stated that the governor, in the third paragraph, on the issue of abuse of office, I wish to state that the governor adopted an intimidating approach to all the issues relating to governance in Kirinyaga County. And that is what I have said I'm qualifying.
Good. So the point, without putting words into your mouth, was to, now that you have understood, and the context is important, now that you have understood, as you have stated in the second paragraph, that the governor is facing an impeachment motion, you are now to come to speak to the issue of abuse of office.
These are issues that when I resigned as a...
Is that the point? Yes or no?
Say that again.
Point of your statement, and I'm asking you a direct question, the point of your statement is to speak, now that you have learned, and I'm only just reading from your statement, now that you have learned, and you have said it was all over the media, now that you have learned that the governor is facing an impeachment motion, you are now, and you have taken no role in the impeachment so far, you are now playing a role by coming before the Senate to speak to the issue of the governor's abuse of office. That is the point of the statement, isn't it? The long and short of it.
Can I explain that? Because you want me to say yes or no, Madam Chair, and I would like to expound on that. I am a resident of Kirinyaga County. So I am privy to the information of all the ongoings in Kirinyaga County. I am not an outsider. So I have every information coming from the county is touching me directly. I have got relatives who are living in Kirinyaga County. They go to the hospitals and they find the hospitals are closed. So I am not just learning this and coming to give my evidence because I have learned there is an impeachment motion. When I resigned from the county, this is information that was given to the EACC, and that is an independent body. So they should be, maybe he should be asking whether there is any information that was given to the EACC to investigate that. That is a body that I can't talk on behalf.
Daktari, what is the point? You have spoken for 3 minutes and you still have not answered my question. What is the point of you being here? You have played no role. You're not a politician.
I am here as a resident of Kirinyaga County and a former CEC who was appointed and passionate about health to improve the healthcare standards of Kirinyaga County. That's why I'm here.
But what are you here to do?
I'm here to give evidence to show how it is difficult. It was difficult for me and how the governor has run down the healthcare system in Kirinyaga County under her watch.
Very good. It took us a long time to get there, but we did eventually. That is why you are here. Now, you have played no role. How did you end up recording this statement?
When something is happening in Kirinyaga County, and I'll say this again, it is not a private matter. It comes to, because being a resident of Kirinyaga County, I will know about it. And when I was requested by the members of the county assembly to record a statement, I obliged.
What did they tell you when they wanted you to record a statement?
They asked me if I could record a statement about my tenure as a CEC member and my role in healthcare in Kirinyaga County, and I did.
And what was the purpose of the statement you were recording?
The purpose of the statement was to show the nation that, indeed, healthcare standards in Kirinyaga County have gone down under the watch of the governor.
Daktari, does the name Tim Theuri ring a bell?
No.
Do you know of any appointment or any name of your replacement that was sent to the Assembly by Her Excellency the Governor?
I've heard of, I think there have been 2 names.
You can't remember, but you can remember
the one
that
who
there has
current,
been no CEC for 1 year.
The one who is there currently is, I know her name, and as I said again, I am a resident of Kirinyaga County. So if there is no CEC in the county in health, and I am in the medical profession, we intercommunicate, we communicate with the doctors in the counties, Madam Chair. And there is no way I will know that there is no CEC in the county. So I know when the CEC was appointed. And that's how I know that there has been no CEC to replace me until very recently.
All right. And according to you, the responsibility for non-replacement of the CEC rests only with the governor.
She is the appointing authority, Madam Chair.
Does the Assembly play any role in the appointment? You are appointed as CEC. Does the Assembly play any role?
Yes. When the appointment is done by the governor, Madam Chair, then the appointee goes to the Assembly to be vetted.
Would I be correct in saying that the process of appointment of a CEC is an act that happens between the governor and the Assembly? They both have a role to play.
Madam Chair, I am not here to say whether the Assembly is wrong or whether the governor is wrong in appointments of the CEC.
Can a governor
That is not my role.
My last question, can a governor appoint a CEC without the approval of the Assembly?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to open, and honourable members, please be very, very concise with this. If you remember, we did summon 2 more people at the behest of the county assembly.
So you seem to have bypassed me on re-examination.
Oh, sorry. Okay, 5 minutes, council.
Yes,
re-examination.
Well guided.
My apologies.
Well guided. You have been put to task to explain why you are here and your purpose. Is it your statement that you are here, 1, as a doctor, 2, as a resident of Kirinyaga County, 3, as a former CEC?
Correct.
You've been put to task to explain whether the Assembly has a role to play. And you said that you cannot actually testify on that in respect of whether they are wrong or right. But you are aware that a name was taken to the Assembly and rejected because of the reasons that the County Assembly adduced, correct?
Yes, correct.
Did the governor react immediately?
Yeah. Madam Chair, that was not the witness's testimony. That is a statement that is now being put by counsel to the witness, and it's an objection I had taken earlier. The witness's answer is that she doesn't know. Now she knows.
Council, can you withdraw and please ask the relevant questions?
I'm well guided, Chair. You are aware that that name was rejected by the County Assembly for being non-responsive to the qualifications that were being sought, yes?
The name that has been mentioned by the lead counsel, now, yes.
And how long, are you aware how long the governor took before having a replacement of that name and sending the name to the County Assembly?
I think it took nearly 1 year.
Since the time the name was thrusted, that is the name of Theuri, and now the current, it took almost another year.
Yes.
Is that conduct that is consistent with a person who minds about the people of Kirinyaga County?
No.
You testified about the question of abuse of office and you're put to task to explain. And I gather where the learned counsel was coming from. What is or what was the relationship between the CECs and the governor?
The relationship between the CECs in Kirinyaga County and the governor, I would say, is not one of a leader and the cabinet. That's the way I would put it. Because even when we go for cabinet meetings, when we used to go for cabinet meetings, which I think during my 1.5 years tenure, we had only about 3. It was purely to just ratify her policies. And even although we are appointed as advisor to the governor, I personally, for example, had several policies that I needed to be passed by the cabinet that I felt would really help to improve the healthcare of Kirinyaga County. But they would never be passed. They would never even be read in the cabinet because that was not her priority. We would only go to the cabinet meeting and read the one that she wants to be passed, and we pass and we go.
It's your testimony that the governor runs her own show.
Yes.
And is it your prayer that this committee does adopt the prayers of the county assembly and find her as unfit to continue serving and holding the office of the governor?
Yes.
Would that serve the interests of the people of Kirinyaga?
Again, Madam Chair.
Council, please desist from the conclusions that the committee is mandated to make, please.
Much obliged. No further questions.
Thank you very much. I think, Senators, let me start with my chair.
Thank you.
Senator Mazayo and Senator Kamboka, and then we'll take next round.
Thank you, Chair. I want to be specific and brief on the issue of closing down all dispensaries. Was the directive verbal or in written?
It was verbal directive.
So you acted on a verbal directive?
I did not act. I said at that point, that is when I felt I needed to resign from the government.
So who directed all the dispensaries to be closed?
Because I was still following on what was happening in Kirinyaga County, immediately after I resigned, the casual workers were all sacked. That was a directive given by the county secretary. And following that, then the dispensaries had to be closed.
So was that matter brought before the cabinet?
By that time, I was not in the county government.
Before you resigned? Have you ever discussed that matter in the county executive committee?
Those are some of the statements or the policies that when we would want to discuss, Madam Chair, the governor would never allow them to be discussed because she had her own priorities in the cabinet meeting.
So it was never discussed?
It was never discussed, but we had a discussion in her office, myself and the chief officer and herself.
Okay, thank you.
And even the Public Service Board. And I think there are also letters to the Public Service Board and to the governor's office to that effect on the employment of the healthcare workers.
That's all, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Mazayo.
Thank you, Chair. Just want you to confine.
Senator Mazayo, please speak up. Senator Mugo is also trying to follow these proceedings.
I would like you to confine yourself to very short responses. You said you as doctors, you communicate a lot, yeah, within Kirinyaga County and, of course, definitely outside Kirinyaga. And because of the same profession, you must be knowing one another very well.
Yes, we do.
I'm looking at your statement where you say, paragraph 4, where you say you join issues with the statement of Dr. Gaur Kumar, who is a representative of KMM PDU. And of course, you worked very closely. Do you know Dr. Gaur? Do you know Dr. Gaur, yes or no?
We don't know each other personally, yes. But I would like to say this, Madam Chair.
No. I didn't ask you to say anything further than that. I want to know also, I'm sure you've gone through all these proceedings. Do we have a mortuary in Kirinyaga?
When I was there, yes, we were able to open the mortuary at Kirugea County Referral Hospital, Madam Chair, and we were we were actually in the process of opening another one at Kebebe Hospital.
Yes. So if anybody came here and said that in Kirinyaga there's no mortuary at all, would be that a true statement?
No.
Thank you. If anybody today came here, or the witness who was there earlier than you, whom I already referred to you, she doesn't know you, you've never worked together, she's never even, I think, either seen you or whatever, would you accept that?
Madam
And
Chair,
here, your statement says, just listen to my question first. Your statement says, currently, you continue to work with her in your private practice.
Madam
We
Chair,
know
if
what
I
a
may-
private practice means.
Yes.
Now, do you work together?
Madam Chair, if I may explain what I meant by
Do you
that.
work together in private practice?
Doctors, we communicate a lot. Even when we don't, we have never met. When Dr. Gore works with my director when I was the county CEC, that is a relationship with the department, and that is a relationship with me. When she refers a patient,
Okay,
and
I think
see a
you
patient
have
in my private practice,
you have
that is
answered
still
me.
working together.
Can you listen to my next question?
Yes.
You have stated that you are formerly an employee of Kirinyaga County.
Yes.
Now, being an employee of Kirinyaga County, you are employed at the time when you were requested to come and work by the governor.
Yes.
And of course, you made a lot of requests at that time, but they were not done in terms of whatever you wanted implemented, and you felt a bit dejected. Are you bitter that you left and this is the time to get either you want to hit back, or because of she's a governor, she never implemented what you wanted and you had to resign, maybe in protest?
No, Madam Chair, in my medical and clinical practice, I have taken a Hippocratic oath. I do not hold any bitterness, even against the person who has done the worst thing to me. I will treat even the person who has shot my son or my mother without
Thank you very much.
holding anything against
And therefore, lastly, would you accept a statement that the health affair or sector in Kirinyaga is so dilapidated with that nothing basically is functional health-wise? Would you accept that?
I would not say nothing is functional, but it could be better.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, please, let's keep it very short. We still have 2 more witnesses to go. In fact, maybe I might just say this will be the last one, and then we can... I'll take the last 2, and then we...
Thank you, Chair. It's just a polite one. You've just told us that Governor Waiguru doesn't understand what it entails with leadership. My question is, when she appointed you, and she had trust in you, she appointed you as the CC of Health. During that time, was she participating leadership? And at what time did she change and become a dictator?
During my...
Dr. Let's take a few more and then we just answer all of them together. I think we are losing more time. Senator Kajwang and then Senator Coreno.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I was promised earlier that some of the concerns I'd raised about the health management information system would be addressed by the current witness. Dr. You have mentioned that there was a system already in place in the hospitals in Kirinyaga before this other tender was floated. Is that correct?
Correct.
Was it a system that was in use, or it had been implemented and not utilized? Dr. Because, Madam Chair, if I took this approach, I'll not exceed 2 minutes. Just respond. Was it being used?
Madam Chair, I mentioned earlier on that there was already and there is still an existing healthcare management system, which required to be activated.
The question is, Dr. Was it in active use?
It was not in active use, it required to be activated.
Okay, so when this tender was floated, you have indicated that you are the user department and you are completely uninvolved in procurement and implementation.
Yes.
What action did you take as a CEC who provides leadership for health matters in the county, seeing that a tender has been floated and a system is being implemented under your nose? Is there any evidence of action you took?
There is no system that was implemented.
So it is your submission that even this tender, having been floated, no implementation occurred?
Not at all.
Dr. Maybe you can answer Senator Kwambuka's question as well, because now that...
And finally, are you aware that payments were done with respect to implementation, consultancy, design, and implementation of the new system?
Yes, I am aware.
You are aware? Yes. Was there any part where the head of the user department is involved in user acceptance and testing? We have seen the governor's records here, records of user acceptance and testing, people drawn from the health department. Are you aware of your staff being involved in testing of that system?
The staff in my department were involved in the testing, but the system was never implemented because it had too many faults and the company was not able to correct.
So your view is that, your submission is that there was an existing system, there was no need to tender for a new system, and the tendered system was not implemented even though payments were made?
Correct.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Dr. Could you go ahead and answer Senator Beatrice's question so that you don't lose that?
Yes.
Can you ask Wakili Waiganjo to put his mask on, please? I'm sorry.
Council, you've asked. Thank you. Thank you.
So, yes, Madam Chair, I would like to answer the question by Senator Beatrice about the leadership and the dictatorship. When I was appointed, as I said earlier, to be the CEC for Kirinyaga County, I was very excited because I was going to serve under a female governor. And I felt that this was the time that Kirinyaga County was going to see tremendous change, especially in my department. But when I started working with her, slowly by slowly, I realized that I was very wrong, that this was not the kind of leadership that I was waiting for. And that is why I was not able to work with her for too long.
Senator Moreno?
Yeah, just two issues. You indicated that you got frustrated because you were not able to budget for some consumables in the department, and that you were told that there was no budget for it. Did you confirm whether there was actually a budget passed by the county assembly and it was now governor who was not performing her part?
Madam Chair,
I
may answer that. Yes, when you have patients, when you are a medical person and you have patients that you have to turn away because you cannot give them service, it becomes very frustrating. And I started getting calls from the residents, from the doctors. They were not able to offer services to the patients who are seeking dialysis because we could not buy consumables for the dialysis unit. Now, we had budgeted for the consumables in our budget. It was appearing in our budget. But the suppliers would say that they cannot supply because they have not been paid for the previous supplies. And that is how we ran into a crisis. That is why I say that it is still the role of the governor, because she has to authorize all the payments that are made from any department.
Thank you, Dr. Okay. Right now I'd like to...
I had one more, short one. You indicated that you had these donors from Canada and they got frustrated and left. And then you also, at the end of the day, then had to close down all the dispensaries. But I wonder why you didn't put these two items that are very important in your statement. Because in your statement, there's nothing about these donors, and there's also nothing about you being ordered to close the dispensaries that actually led you to resign. Why didn't you put it in your statement?
I said that this was part of the abuse of office. When I alluded to in my statement about abuse of office, these are some of the explanations that I wanted to give on regarding abuse of office.
Thank you, Dr. Now I'd like to ask Senator Beth Mugo, Commissioner, do you have anything? I hope you've been able to follow, and if you have anything to add, I'd like to give you an opportunity to do so now before we call in the next witness. Senator Mugo, can you hear me? Senator Beth, I think she's frozen. Okay, no problem. So thank you very much, Dr. Again, you've done your civic duty. This committee will look and determine what is contained in your statements and in your witness responses as well.
Thank you very much. Chair. And as I leave, I would like to urge this honorable committee and the whole Senate and the Assembly at large to
now,
seriously.
We have
I'm not talking about this motion.
Okay.
I'm talking about health now,
okay.
from as a doctor.
Okay.
That universal health care, which is the president's big four agenda, one of the big four agenda, for it to be realized, we have to get serious about provision of primary health care. And when you close the dispensaries, then you do not provide primary health care. Mm-hmm. So as from a doctor's perspective, we are finding it very difficult that the government is intending to provide universal health care, but the governors are not helping.
Dr. Well noted.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Asante sana. Good. Honorable members, we'll take 2 minutes, just stand up for 2 minutes, and then we'll, as we call in the next person. I'll also invite back my chair to continue. Sanitize, please, for us, and then stretch for 2 minutes, then we'll start. Time to change over.
This is where real hype lives. Mind-blowing entertainment is found right here.
Hi, what's up?